Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us or staying with us here on WCNC Plus Live Impact News. I'm Nick Sturdivant. Across from me is Carlene James is somewhere out there.
Hi.
Becca Bursaw is here. We'll get to her in a moment. Carlene, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Monday afternoon at that, so we're pretty much like halfway through the day.
That's right.
If you made it this far,
You can make it.
You can keep going.
Yeah.
Come on. So we're going to keep going.
That's right.
We're not going to waste any time. We want to get to some top headlines that we're following. Pumpkin spice lovers, fall lovers, rejoice for now, because we got some cool attempts on the way. We'll have a full breakdown of a forecast with Becca Birdsall in just moments. Great timing with great weather outside, even though it's, not cool outside. It's still warm. It's a pretty great day because it's the first day back in school for
That's right.
CMS, Union County, Caldwell County.
Hickory schools, I believe.
Conover.
And I think, yeah.
It's a lot of districts.
There's a lot of,
I don't want to forget any school district. I'm sorry, guys. If I missed a school district, I'm sorry. But just know you're back to school
Everyone's
today. You're back to school today. We are expecting to hear from CMS actually for their midday.
About like an hour from
in
now.
about an hour from now, checking in on how the day is going. And also happening today, a visual rosary and eulogy for the legendary NASCAR promoter, Humpy Wheeler. He was a longtime president of Charlotte Motor Speedway, putting on the map. He, a legend in his own right.
Right.
So his family did announce that the public is invited to honor his life and legacy during the services. Again, the vigil and rosary and eulogy is this evening, 5:30 to 7:30 at St. Gabriel Catholic Church on Providence Road. And then tomorrow, his funeral mass and reception will take place at 11 a.m., same location, St. Gabriel Catholic Church, Providence Road. So again, we, public, Charlotte community, get a chance to remember the life of Humpy Wheeler. All right, so I mentioned this earlier, cooler temps. Just how cool, Becca? When I hear cooler temps, I'm thinking like sweater weather, hoodies. Am I on the right track here?
You may want a jacket for Thursday morning. We'll be dropping down into
jacket?
the 50s. I know. Upper 50s, that is.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not ready
Otherwise, I love when it's just not too hot and not too cold. And that's
Absolutely.
exactly what we have in the forecast. You can comfortably wear short sleeves.
Carlene doesn't like this. She doesn't like this. I
I'm a
love
summer
it.
gal. I am. Fall is hard to dress for because it's
It is?
cold in the
Yes.
morning,
Totally
and then
agree.
it's warm in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And you can't wear a sweater and then you be outside in 80 degrees. You're gonna sweat. So it is hard. It's hard to be fall in Carolinas.
I love it. So-
I know. I'm a hater. I'm sorry. I know.
I mean,
I'm
look,
a summer
Perfect.
girl.
you had your fun. Now it's time for us to have our fun.
I did have my fun.
All right.
Well, it's cold front day today, and the cold front has actually passed through the area. So we will continue to get some of those cool northerly winds. So while today will be a more mild one with highs,
one or two.
weather one.
So sorry, y'all. Sorry to
All
interrupt.
good.
Not loaded up.
Highs are going to be in the middle 80s today. That's actually going to be the warmest day out of the entire week, which I think a lot of people will be excited for. So surface map, you can see that cold front draped across South and North Carolina. That's where it is. So it has pushed across the area from the mountains into the metro, and that's really what's going to drive in some of that cooler air. And it's bringing in a lot of sunshine. What a great way to start off this last week of August. And of course, back to school for many of you out there. Live view across the area, just a couple of fair weather cumulus clouds as temperatures pretty mild at this hour. Lunchtime for Monday, 83 degrees in Charlotte, 81 in Concord, even middle to upper 70s over towards the foothills, 76 in Hickory, and 67 over in Boone. 24-hour temperature change just slightly cooler than this time yesterday, but we really won't feel the effects of this cooler air until tonight. This evening, it's going to feel really nice. 8 p.m. dropping down to about 80 degrees overall with low temperatures down into the lower to middle 60s to start off your Tuesday. But high temperatures today, like I mentioned, middle 80s. That is going to be the warmest out of the entire week ahead. By tomorrow, upper 70s to lower 80s. And that is going to be the high temperature that we stay in throughout the week and this upcoming weekend. Now, our average high is around 88 degrees. So this is going to be really a first fall preview and well below average temperatures. That average high goes down to about 87 towards the end of the month and middle 80s for that first week of September. But the air that we'll be feeling this week is going to feel a little bit more like late September. So this is a real rare August treat for us. And like I mentioned, you'll really feel it with these morning temperatures. Tomorrow morning, this is what we're going to start off at. 50 degrees expected in Boone. Tomorrow morning, 57 in Hickory, 63 in Charlotte, even dropping down to the upper 50s, lower 60s, both Wednesday and Thursday. That's really the range that we'll stay in through the weekend as well. Of course, the big difference is going to be this drop in humidity. So this is not only going to be cooler air, but just refreshingly dry. You can see that with those dew points in the 40s and 50s all the rest of the week. Now, as that cold front continues to pass through, it's just going to reinforce dry air. Real next chance to see a couple of showers will be next Friday, but overall only about a 20% chance as of now. Now, of course, looking ahead in the extended forecast, how long is this cooler weather going to last? Well, 10-day forecast actually has below average temperatures over the next 10 days. Quick check on the tropics as we have Tropical Storm Fernan, the 11 a.m. advisory, wind sustained at 60 miles per hour. This is well offshore the East Coast, and it's continuing to drive up north-northeast, and it's going to stay east of Bermuda as well. That means having no impact on land, best case scenario. Fernan was the 6th official named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. The next two names on the list are Gabrielle and Umberto, but actually at the moment there is not an area of disturbance that the National Hurricane Center is watching at this moment, so that's going to be good news. 7-day forecast for today, warmest day out of the entire week. So Colleen, that's what we have in the forecast for you.
I'll be fine.
Drop with cooler temperatures. We'll feel it by tomorrow. And that's pretty much the forecast that we're going to stick with for this week. Quiet, refreshing, dry. I mean, not much more you could ask for for a late August week.
Yeah.
They all look like Nick's picks to me.
It's a very Nick forecast.
This is a great forecast. You know what? The perfect forecast if we just lower the temperature, the high till about
75?
75.
Yeah, that's your perfect temp.
Oh yeah.
My perfect, I like it 84, 85 is what I like.
Okay.
That's like my perfect
warm.
temp.
That's very warm.
I want to splish splash, Becca. I love being in the pool.
I don't really care about going to the pool.
I'm over it.
I haven't been to the pool all summer.
Really?
I am not a
You didn't
pool
dip your
guy.
toe once?
I've been to the beach, but
Yeah,
not
you
here.
went to the beach. Yeah,
But-
we went in San Diego.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
water
It
was
wasn't
cold,
here.
right?
Yeah, the water was really cold. I like the beach.
Becca, are you a
I'm
beach
not a
gal?
Oh, I love the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
not really a big pool guy.
It's okay. It's okay. You can be, again, you could just be on the side and wave.
Yeah.
If I had my own pool, I'd be there
Oh,
every
yeah.
day, but I sadly don't.
Yeah.
I could do a jacuzzi.
The
I like
jacuzzi's nice.
jacuzzi. Okay.
Sure.
And we're almost at the time where we can, use a jacuzzi because
Yeah,
it's not gonna be
borrow
too.
the
It's not gonna be. If you have a jacuzzi, we would love to use it.
You want any jacuzzi
I'm,
friends?
I'm saying it like we have a jacuzzi. I mean, I don't know. Y'all probably have jacuzzis.
I do not.
Nope.
No.
Okay, well we're looking for jacuzzis
Jacuzzi friends.
and pumpkin spice. Anything. I know y'all love pumpkin
Yes.
spice.
No.
I know.
What?
I'm just
I'm
trolling
not a
Carlene
big
at
pumpkin
this
spice
point.
It's my favorite food.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
For real?
so good. It's so good.
It I like pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at pumpkin
People
spice.
say that it's overrated, but truly it's.
I'm also
it's
not a
like
coffee
you're
drinker either.
drinking fall.
Pumpkin spice donuts. Those are pretty good.
I only eat glazed donuts. Unpopular opinion.
Wow.
I do
The
not
more
drink.
Classic.
Yeah.
you see how much you learn about folks when the temperature starts to drop a little bit. You learn so much.
Yeah.
Becca Birdsall, thank you for your time.
Of
Thank you for
course.
stopping by.
Yes.
Pumpkin spice is a favorite. Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
only glazed donuts. All right. I'm off of it. I'm done. All right, so let's switch gears for a moment. So I hate to make this hard turn, but I have to do it. So we are tracking a major explosion right now. Crews are on the scene. So here's what we have from our content partners there in St. Louis, KSDK. They're reporting a major explosion injuring 4 people and damaging 5 homes in North St. Louis. I'm reading a quote here. Felt like an earthquake. Again, our content partners, KSDK, doing continuous coverage right now. Let's check in on what's happening there right now.
There was questions whether or not it was a gas explosion. Was there a gas leak, anything like that? So far, Spire says that does not appear to be the case, but their investigation continues on.
Well, they're just saying that there was nothing wrong with the infrastructure. So that is what they said, and they've turned off the gas
Yes.
since then.
Yeah.
But as you can see, we were looking, we no longer have our Skylands 5 shot, but when we were looking at it, I counted at least 4 cars
At
that were
least.
burned,
Yeah.
that were charred.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the houses. And so,
of course the house.
if we go back to that house there, I think that was the third house, the first of the 3 that we think we counted, coming back this way, coming back towards the corner, back towards the red tent. The tent right here, which appears to be some type of command center maybe, where they're meeting and discussing what's going on. The house there, you can see some remains of it that they are putting the water on, but the house right next to it, there is nothing there. You look straight down into the basement. The house next to that is pretty much the same way. This is a very devastating situation where you look at it and go, what all happened here? So much was damaged. And to say that only 4 people have been injured is kind of a miracle when you think about it.
Right, we haven't reported anything worse. Certainly when we look at the damage, it is pretty massive. So we do have a look from Skylands 5. This is early on the scene, and so we were really focused on this one house. But now, as we've been able to, progress and learn more throughout the morning, we've seen more structures, or what appears to be more structures that are burned just to the right
Yes.
of that house.
Yeah.
But, again, we've been saying it, and it really is true. It is a fluid situation. I mean, just look at the live shots. You see dozens of people on scene trying to make sure that this area is secure and safe, trying to figure out who's been transported to the hospital, who might have secondary injuries, who might be sustaining damage, where's the Red Cross helping. All of these things are coming into play as we are now more than 2.5 hours into this event.
We have been dealing with a lot back to May 16th, and our first responders really have been putting in a lot of work throughout our area, so we want to give them a round of applause for the work they've been putting in. We see a member of the ATF there, judging by the t-shirt that is on scene. We know that the bomb and arson squad are now investigating to see if what this is and help with the determination of it. The fire department remains on scene, continue to try to put the fire out. We have seen flames, and once again, this was 2.5 hours ago, and yet things still are burning at this time. So it is very intense. Even though the people you see who are there see them be calm, no one seems to be in a panic, that's probably a great sign because it gives you the indication that things appear to be under control. I asked Megan earlier if she thought that the situation was stable. She felt that yes, it was, that no one has told them to clear the area, nothing along those lines. So right now it's a matter of putting the fires out and then continuing the investigation from inside of the wreckage, inside of the debris and the damage there. And also to make sure that it's only 4 people who've been injured in the immediate area of the explosion.
And again, this is a live look here. We were able to see flames just a few minutes ago, trying to get some new information as we head into our our noon show and trying to figure out what exactly is the latest. We do know that there is another news conference happening just at, what is the church? The church, St. Angela, oh my goodness, I'm blanking out. But Maurice, yes, St. Angela Maurice. So that is right off of New Halls Ferry and Lindbergh, that area there. But we have Mercedes McKay on the scene. We also have Megan Kernan on the scene.
And I saw
all
Reggie there.
different
Reggie, our assignment editor. I saw him on the scene too. So
they're all different vantage points to try to get new information because we are, as you can see, this is just a massive event scene that so many people are a part of. But we've heard from people who said, okay, I ran, we talked to that one gentleman, Tariq Abernathy, who said he ran outside of his home after not only his house shook, but his windows went out and saw actual people burned.
His descriptions were hard. His descriptions is very hard, but it's very raw, and that's the immediacy of what took place. And he just basically described to us what he was seeing. His friend was injured, and you could tell by just his reaction that he too was a little, I don't want to say in shock, but sort of taken aback, like, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but there seems to be a lot going on here. We were trying to give you an idea of where this is. Do we have the map? Can we go back to the map one more time?
Paul's been watching it too. I mean, this is like New Halls Ferry and Lindbergh, so this is an unincorporated part of North County. We are seeing blackjack, fluorescent, and members of the county responding here.
So I'm told that this is near a Walmart off of Lindbergh by Coldwater Creek. So as we've been saying, it isn't necessarily in Florissant itself, but within that area. A loud boom was heard around 9:15 this morning, shook the entire area. People, as you saw, we heard from one witness there, immediately responded by running out of their houses and seeing what was going on out there. It has been so long, and yet the scene remains very active at this time.
We've been talking about the traffic in that area because we were saying that some people were not able to get inside the community, and I can hear, Mercedes is back live. She can hear us. Mercedes, can people get into that neighborhood?
So, Michelle, from what we can see, no. I mean, it took us so long to even get out there. Most of the neighborhood is blocked off. The only way we were actually able to get to where we are right now is because of Reggie, our assignment desk manager, who lives in this area. We're kind of in a backwooded part to even get to our vantage point. But right now, from what I can see, both ends of the neighborhood, from what I can see, and I'm walking around kind of as much as I can right now, is blocked off. I mean, there's fire trucks all up and down this road. There are people in this neighborhood who are just kind of standing outside their homes. Obviously, they're in here, but this is definitely taken over by the fire department and all these emergency crews. So still, as you guys have been saying, very, very active. And I've also just been told by Blackjack that their chief is heading over to where our Justina Cornell is at that church. So we're hoping here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll have more information about what exactly is happening here. But I heard you say it earlier, Rennie, and I just kind of want to reiterate it. The amount of emergency crews here and the people that are just in control of this is pretty incredible. We say it all the time how grateful we are for them, but this scene, as hectic as it looks, is very calm with the amount of emergency crews that are here. So it is actually pretty amazing to see this response because, again, just even trying to get to this location was so hard. So this is going to be a long road ahead. And, just from my vantage point right now, I know y'all can see it as well, but there's so much debris all over the road. When we were actually walking into the neighborhood, a Spire official told us to watch out for nails because there's nails all over the ground. So it just shows kind of the catastrophe that we are seeing here today. So very sad, a lot of work to be done here, but these crews, I just want to say, are doing an incredible job. And again, we're hoping to hear from the Blackjack chief here in the next 15 to 20 minutes about what actually led to this explosion.
planes. I can't imagine the amount of debris that went into the air. You know, if you're thinking about nails on the ground, there's a massive explosion with 5 houses at least, you know, with some damage.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of what it looked like after the tornado, where things were just everywhere that were so out of place because they weren't supposed to be there, but because of the explosion from the tornado, things were scattered, and that seems to be the same case here. We are going to continue to stay on top of what is happening here. We're going to bring you the very latest at noon. We're going to have our live reporters there as well, so we will continue to update this, not just here on air, but also on the 5+ streaming app, as well as KSDK.com. We're going to go back to programming now, and Michelle will be back with you in just about 10 minutes live for Today in St. Louis, our noon show at noon.
I need to get some more scene footage.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we are approaching the top of the hour, 12:49-ish. As we are looking on at live coverage there, it looks like they took a break from that, but a house explosion in North St. Louis. And so our content partners, KSDK, doing live coverage there. It looks like they took a break, but we are not taking a break. We actually want to go to Washington, D.C., because it's happening right now, live. President Donald Trump is meeting with the president of South Korea here in the Oval Office. Let's take a listen in to what's being said right now. This just popped up on our feeds.
거기서 저도 골프도 칠 수 있게 해주시고 그래서 전 세계가 인정하는 정말 세계사적인 평화의 메이커로서의 역할을 꼭 해주시기를 기대합니다.
And I would like to mention that the only remaining divided nation in the world is the Korean Peninsula. And I would like to ask for your role in establishing peace on the Korean Peninsula. So I look forward to your meeting with Chairman Kim Jong-un and construction of a Trump Tower in North Korea and playing golf at that place.
아마 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다. 네, 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다.
So I believe he will be waiting for you.
그리고 마지막으로 든든한 한미 동맹을 기반으로 대한민국이 성장 발전해 왔고 앞으로도 이 한미 동맹을 군사 분야뿐만이 아니라 경제 분야 또 다른 과학 기술 분야까지 다 확장해서 미래형으로 발전시켰으면 좋겠습니다.
Korea was able to attain economic growth and development through our ironclad alliance. And going forward, I hope to develop our alliance into a future-oriented alliance that encompasses areas not only limited to security, but also the economy and science and technology.
대한민국 국민들은 트럼프 대통령님에 대해서 정말로 큰 기대를 가지고 있다는 말씀을 드리면서 다시 한번 이런 시간 내주셔서 감사드립니다.
The Korean people have great expectations for you, Mr. President. Thank you once again for your time.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you. I will say that Kim Jong-un and I had a very good relationship, as you remember, and still do. And when I came in, I didn't know him. We had 2 summits, but we became very friendly. Respect. It was great respect. And it was not going to be that way had Hillary Clinton won the election. It would have been a disaster. But we think we can do something in that regard with respect to North and South, and I think you are much more prone to doing that than other leaders that I've been working with from South Korea. And we'll work on that. I think it's very good to work on that. If you remember, you were doing the Olympics, and there was a great time of hostility with North Korea, and you weren't selling tickets because nobody wanted to be blown up in the stadium during the opening ceremonies, right? And you were not selling tickets. And I was also at my formative stage with North Korea and Kim Jong-un, and we were a little bit going at it about Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man, everything back and forth, and it was really nasty. And then I got a call one day, and they wanted to get together, they wanted to talk, and we started talking. And then he said really brilliantly, he said, you know, the Olympics is going to be opening very soon, and we'd like to be a part of it. They actually put teams in it. You got along great. And by the way, immediately upon that phone call, you started selling tickets, and it turned out to be a tremendous success. So it went from being empty stadiums because people were afraid to go, because it was a target potentially, to a great success. And I was very proud of that. you had one of the most successful Olympics, and now we have the Olympics coming to the U.S., so we're very happy about that. But that was a great honor to get involved and make the Olympics so successful.
네, 대단히 감사합니다. 다시 한번 모시게 돼서 영광이라고 말씀드리겠습니다. 제가 김정은 위원장과 굉장히 좋은 관계를 가지고 있습니다. 그리고 현재도 매우 좋은 관계가 있습니다. 내가 처음에 취임하고 난 다음에 두 번의 정상회담을 김정은 위원장과 함께했고 상당히 친해졌고 또 더 중요한 것은 둘 다 존경심을 서로에게 가지고 있다는 것입니다. 만일 힐러리 클린턴이 대통령으로 당선했다면 절대 그러한 상황까지 이르지 않았을 것입니다. 제가 보기에는 이재명 대통령께서 한국의 어느 지도자보다도 북한에 좀 더 문제를 해결하고자 하는 의지가 있는 그러한 대통령이라고 생각합니다. 그래서 어쩌면 우리가 함께 노력한다면 어느 정도 진전이 있을 수도 있겠습니다. 사실 그 한국에서 올림픽이 열렸을 때 북한 때문에 많은 사람들이 올림픽 표를 사지 않는 그런 현상이 생겨났었습니다. 그런데 김정은 위원장이 그때 사실은 김정은 위원장과 초기에는 제가 별로 사이가 좋았던 것은 아닙니다. 서로 락켓맨이라고 부르면서 주고받는 그러한 해프닝도 있었습니다. 그런데 어느 날 통화를 시작하게 되었고 통화를 하면서 그가 얘기를 했습니다. 한국에서 올림픽이 곧 열리는데 우리 북한도 참가하겠다. 그렇게 얘기를 했습니다. 그리고 그 통화 직후에 올림픽표가 많이 팔리기 시작했습니다. 그리고 한국의 올림픽은 올림픽 역사상 가장 성공적인 올림픽으로 지금 기록되고 있습니다. 또 우리 미국 올림픽을 주최할 예정입니다. 그래서 우리도 미국에서 성공적인 그런 올림픽을 주최할 계획을 가지고 있습니다.
김정은 위원장 말씀을 하셔서 그런데 사실 대통령님 덕분에 이 북한하고 이 한반도 관계가 매우 안정적이었습니다. 그런데 사실 그 이후 대통령께서 미국 정치에서 잠깐 물러서 있는 그 사이에 사실은 북한의 미사일도 많이 개발됐고 핵폭탄도 많이 늘어났고 진척된 것도 없이 한반도 상황은 정말로 많이 나빠졌죠.
Mr. President, you mentioned about Chairman Kim, and thanks to your efforts when you were in office during your first term, the situation on the Korean Peninsula was stable. But during the hiatus where you were out of office, North Korea developed further its nuclear and missile capabilities, and that led to a deterioration on the situation of the Korean Peninsula.
And they wouldn't have done that. They would not have done that if I were president. That
내가
was not going to
만약에
happen.
대통령이 당선되었다면 그런 일이 일어나지 않았을 것입니다.
전적으로 공감합니다.
I completely agree with you.
그래서 지금 얼마 전에 김여정이 미국과 저를 비난하는 발언을 할 때도 대통령과 김정은 위원장의 특별한 관계에 대해서는 의심하지 않는다 이런 표현을 했습니다. 기다리고 있다는 뜻으로 보여졌습니다.
So when Kim Yo-jong, the deputy director of the Workers' Party of Korea, issued a statement denouncing South Korea, she mentioned about the not bad relationship between you and Chairman Kim Jong-un, and I believe that this is a sign that North Korea is waiting.
한반도의 평화의 새 길을 꼭 열어주시기 바랍니다.
So I hope that you will usher in a new era of peace on the Korean Peninsula.
I will do that, and we'll have talks. He'd like to meet with me. He didn't want to meet with Biden because he had no respect for Biden, but we look forward to meeting with him, and we'll make relations better. You'll help that. You had a lot of leaders. I've gone through a lot of leaders in South Korea. You know, it's been quick. You'll be there for a long time. But we, in the various leaders that I've dealt with, they were not approaching it properly, in my opinion, having to do with North Korea. But I think your approach is a much better one.
네, 그렇게 하도록 하겠습니다. 김 위원장이 바이든 전 대통령을 만나고 싶죠 하지는 않았지만 나를 만나고 싶어 할 것 같습니다. 그래서 그런 시도를 하겠고요. 내가 한국의 지도자들을 여러 분을 만나봤는데 제 개인적인 생각으로는 대북 정책이 그렇게 적절하지 않지 않았나 하는 생각이 듭니다. 그래서 이 대통령께서 그 적절한 대북 정책을 통해서 좀 더 그 진전이 있었으면 하는 생각입니다.
저의 관여로 남북 관계가 잘 개선되기 쉽지 않은 상태인데 실제로 이 문제를 풀 수 있는 유일한 인물이 트럼프 대통령이십니다.
So resolving this issue through my engagement is not an easy thing. And the only person that can make progress on this issue is you, Mr. President.
대통령께서 피스 메이커를 하시면 저는 페이스 메이커로 열심히 지원하겠습니다.
So if you become the peacemaker, then I will assist you by being a pacemaker.
That's good. We can do big progress, I think, with North Korea. Absolutely.
네, 북한에 대해서 큰 진전을 함께 이루어 나갈 수 있다고 믿습니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good job. Okay, questions, please?
Mr. President, when you met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, how soon did he say that he wanted to sit down with Ukrainian President Zelensky? Russia, as of now, says there's no meeting on the books and no agenda is set.
Well, that's going to be up to them. It takes two to tango, I always say it. And they should meet, I think, before I have a meeting and probably close the deal. But I think it's appropriate they meet. They do not exactly get along well, as you can understand. And I'm sure it's a meeting that perhaps he didn't like. But he wasn't happy about coming to the United States either. That was a big concession, and I appreciate the fact that he did. You know, I've always had a very good relationship despite a fake Russia haunt that we had. But we've always had a great relationship, very good relationship, strong relationship with Russia. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, by the way. That's a very good thing. And it's good to get along with Kim Jong-un, and it's good to get along with everybody, including President Lee. It's good to get along, and I get along with the foreign leaders. You see that with the biggest group of foreign leaders that we've ever had. Don't forget the European Union was here also representing a large group of countries just recently. So I believe that we're going to get that war straightened out. We're going to get it done. I don't know that they'll meet. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. They'd like me to be at the meeting. I said, you guys ought to work it out. It's between you, it's not us. Now, in the meantime, we're not spending any money on, as you know, on Ukraine. We're selling military equipment to NATO. NATO now is taking in, excuse me, NATO now is taking in a large amount of money from the countries. They're taking in 5% of GDP versus 2%. They're paying the 5%. They never paid the 2%, most of them, or a lot of them. NATO has a lot of money. We are selling military equipment to NATO at full price, and NATO's distributing that equipment to wherever they are. I mean, perhaps to Ukraine. So NATO's working with Ukraine. Biden was giving hundreds of billions of dollars, just willy-nilly, just giving money. He had no idea where it was going. It was terrible what was happening. So we're not involved anymore in terms of cost. We're in for $350 billion. As you know, I also got the rare earth deal done with Ukraine, which was worth much more than the $350 billion. But I'm not interested in the money so much, even though we've done a great job in that regard. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in stopping a war where last week 7,109 soldiers died, both Russian and Ukraine. It's such a waste of life and humanity. They're not from this country. They're not from any other country other than Ukraine, for the most part, other than Ukraine and Russia. But it's a very important thing to me to stop it. I stopped 7 wars that were raging, one for 31 years, the Congo, and as you know, Rwanda, one for 35 years. I don't have to go into them. You know the list better than I do. But we stopped a lot of wars, including, you think about it, India and Pakistan, which was probably 2 weeks away from being a nuclear war. They were shooting down airplanes all over the place. So I'm very proud of that. I thought this would be, in many ways, the easiest way. I have a very good relationship with Putin. I thought it would be the easiest one to stop, and it's really not. It's very complex. It's very personal from their standpoint. There's tremendous dislike personally between the two men, and we're going to have to straighten that out. But I would like to see them meet first. They'd like me to be there. I may be there. I may not. I'll see. But I wanted them to work out their differences first, because it is ultimately between them. And when that happens, I think we'll get an end.
Maybe they meet, maybe they don't. How long are you willing to let this play out? And if they don't meet, will there be consequences, and how soon for Russia?
Yeah, there could be very big consequences, but we'll see what happens. There might be very big consequences, because this is something that has to end. This war would have never taken place, and for 4 years it didn't take place. But if I were president, this war would have never taken place. There has not been a war like this since the Second World War. This is the biggest thing that's happened in terms of warfare, wars, It's a whole new form of fighting. It's a drone fighting. It's a drone war. No, a drone war never existed before. And we're actually studying it from the standpoint of Pete Hegseth and everybody. We're studying it and studying it very carefully. This is a whole new form of war, but it's a violent war, and there has been nothing like this since the Second World War. So we'll see what happens over the next week or two, and at that point I'll step in very strongly, and if I have to be there, I'll be there. And we'll either have a deal or we won't. But a lot of people are dying, and I want to get us...
Kim Jong-un wants to meet. When do you want to meet with him?
With who?
You said the North Korean leader wants to meet. How soon would you?
Yeah, we want to have a meeting. I like to have a meeting.
All right, so you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant, right there. We're about 4 minutes past the top of the hour. That is President Trump. He's meeting with the president of South Korea right now. He is answering questions there inside of the Oval Office. We want to shift away from that, and we want to come back here home. We want to talk about a topic that we touched on our morning show. You probably saw it late last week. And you probably saw our next guest who's in studio on your TV screen here on WCNC Charlotte, WCNC Plus, Rick Herrera. So he's the co-founder of the Hispanic Heritage Festival. And he got a chance to talk with one of our reporters, Richard Devane, about the festival being canceled and the reasons behind it. You've probably seen it in different places. You probably heard about it. I saw the story. You can catch that story right now on our digital platforms, but I thought it was important to bring in Rick here on the stream. And before we get into that, again, Rick is the co-founder of the Hispanic Heritage Festival of the Carolinas. Before we get into the festival, we had a unique conversation about Charlotte.
We did.
You're from Charlotte. I asked my guests from time to time because we meet people, we have people on who have been in Charlotte maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, but people are relatively new to the area. You grew up here in Charlotte.
Yeah. Nick, first of all, thanks for having me. And it was a great conversation, just how Charlotte has grown. But yeah, I've been here since I'm 54. I've been here since I was 8 years old. So certainly a lot of changes, a lot of growth in our community. I've seen the development of this beautiful city. I really have, and it's been wonderful to see it grow and myself grow along with it.
You grew up along South Boulevard?
I did, yeah. We used to go where Queens Park used to be the movie theater to go to, not the AMCs, and now it's the railroad that you have there, but that was our movie theater. So we lived right there. It was Sloan Street, Hollis Road, very diverse community at that time. Vietnamese, Black, South Americans, white. It was a combination. It was a combination, and just the memory of how fun it was living in those times.
Before we get to the festival and why it was canceled, I do want to ask, how has the city changed? I know physically things have grown, but culturally, how has it changed in your time here, growing up here and now being a voice here, being a leader here? How has it changed?
It's changed dramatically, like I said. But the most important thing that has not changed is that Southern charm, that Southern hospitality. And as a Latino, growing up here and having friends here and seeing so many different industries like roofing, landscaping, that are done a lot of it by our Latino workers, right? And to see them grow as well, to see them make this country and this city part of their everyday life. Planting, their roots here. You miss home, but this is home to us. This is home. And like I said, just being here, meeting just different people's different walk of lives. It's a melting pot. Charlotte is beautiful. Charlotte's a beautiful city.
Yeah, Carlene's gonna get sick of me. I'd say I'm from High Point. She knew it was coming.
You gotta mention it.
I gotta mention it because I grew up not far from Charlotte. We used to pop down to Charlotte all the time. So it is, in a way, seeing the city change and then moving here almost a couple of years ago. And it's just different from what you remember as a kid. And it's just time. It just shows you how fast time moves.
Sometimes I ride along South Boulevard with my wife, and it's nostalgic because sometimes I drop a tear just to see the growth because of the growth, but also It's like, this is where I used to ride my bikes.
Yeah.
This is where I used to deliver the newspaper in a bike route. I had a bike route. So yeah, my mother and I would sit there with rubber bands, and back then it still is leading newspaper here. That's what we would do. Yeah, that was my part-time money, or since I was 13, I was working since I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
So that was my bike route. Handling and putting the rubber bands and your hands being all just from the ink,
Yeah.
and then you go and deliver. So kind of a Leave It to Beaver moment, or the last stuff in my era.
Yeah, I was about to say, Leave It to Beaver. Okay, let's get into it. 2022, correct me if I'm wrong, you start the Hispanic Heritage Festival.
We did.
Why 2022? Why start it then? I guess, where did you get the idea from? The festival is in September. That's Hispanic Heritage Month. But what prompted you to start the festival?
Yeah, I mean, there's been many festivals that have started here in the community, and I've been lucky enough to either be part of their growth as a co-founder, or from the inception of different festivals. And there are many wonderful festivals throughout our community, in Charlotte and surrounding areas, Gastonia as well. And some of the festivals cater just to a particular community, like a Colombian festival, or Ecuadorian festival, or Peruvian. Ours is a combination of kind of a little bit of everything. And mind you, those festivals are great because not only Ecuadorians show up, or Colombians, or Peruvians, Venezuelans. So it's a melting pot that supports that. That you can call it a little bit of a cultural movement, right? And the idea is just, hey, how do we honor or celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month? Because it includes everyone. The islanders that sometimes are forgotten, which are the Cubans, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, right? Yeah. So we wanted to be inclusive of everyone, or try to be inclusive of everyone. And remember that around that time, that was COVID, post-COVID. So the idea was basically people, and just seeing, hey, can we try to do something that includes everyone? And not only that, but can we do something to where our name could be highlighted, not as Latinos, but as our name as members of this community, right? And we thought, why not try to do something downtown, right? Because some of the festivals are in other parts of the city, but something downtown. And last year was wonderful because we ended it with fireworks. So, you try to do a little bit better, right? And kind of somewhat mimic what other great festivals have done, and try to bring a little bit of culture down to the downtown area as well, or a little bit more Latino flavor.
Yeah, and it is at Truist Field, right?
It is at Truist Field, yes.
For those who have never been to the festival, what is that like? Because I've read thousands of people show up, and I'm sure it's a lot to wrap your hands around organizing it. But the night of that festival, what is that like for you?
That's a great question because the great thing is that 10 to 11,000 people show up in one day. Yeah, it's massive in the aspect of the logistics and the organization, and everything starts weeks prior and all of that. But the fun part, like you said, is not only being able to see the representation culturally, musically, food-wise, right, through the festival, but at nighttime it ends up being a concert. Yeah. It ends up being a concert for the community, not just the Latino community, because we have great artists. I think the first year we bought Grammy award-winning Elvis Crespo, and then Gente de Zona does a lot with Mark Anthony, big artists, right? Okay. Huge artists. So it ends up being like a concert. So it's funny because you'll see people that come during the day, and some will stay at night. Some will just come at night just for the concert,
A little bit for everybody.
Yeah, a little bit for everybody. Right, the kids as well. So yeah.
But you decided to cancel it this year. Yeah. I read, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I read that you started thinking about this months ago, canceling it. Why? And I understand. I don't want to sound naive, and obviously the elephant in the room concerning ICE, right? Yeah. But where did you get to the point where you said, hey, this is a thought to, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it?
Yeah. When things hit home, you act differently because it hits home. So when you have personal friends that have been affected directly by that, then you see the news, because you never think it's gonna get to you.
Yeah.
You always just, I know it's out there, the flu, it's out there.
Yeah.
This is out there. But when it hits home, that's when your defensive mode comes up, because it's just a defense mechanism. So for me, was that. For me, it was saying, okay, if it's hitting home, how are others dealing with this in the community? So we started just asking some questions, and hey, we got a lot of calls too about the festival. You guys, what are you looking to do? Are you still gonna hold it? Because we hadn't done any marketing for it, right? Because we were just thinking, what do we do? And I think you have to ask your question, that question, which is, you want to be profitable, or do you really want to, kind of face what reality is? And that reality is what's happening in the immigration scenario right now. The immigration climate is hot. It's hot. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. And this is not a political stance for us. It's just more of a safety stand for us. What do I mean by that is, when you have a large mass of groups, 10 to 11,000, to me, it would have been an invitation for people who did not want there.
Yeah.
So you do something like that massive that we're well known for. It's an invitation for perhaps, or the opportunity for someone to come and say, you know what, we're gonna set up camp here, and that's not what we want. We didn't want to we wanted to make sure that our community was safe, our vendors were safe, and our name, reputation goes a long way.
Did you get any negative feedback when you decided to cancel? Because there are other events slated to happen.
Yeah.
Within the Hispanic culture, there are more events slated to happen later this year.
They're coming, and I work with some of these festivals, and I wish them the best. I really do. For us, it was just that, downtown. When you look at the logistics, how the streets are downtown, no exit. Even though Choice is a private venue, they have been wonderful to us. And they have worked with us and certainly understand what negative comments. Obviously you're gonna get that, right? And but for the most part, have been thank yous. And it's most unfortunate this is happening, but it's to us is I couldn't sleep if knowing that one person or one family got divided because we decided to hold an event. To me, that wasn't worth it.
How have you handled this mentally? Because you've done press, you're doing another interview right now about it. You're constantly thinking about it. It's constantly on your mind. How have you been able to handle this mentally?
It's been tough.
Yeah.
I can only imagine you driving through town and all your paperwork is right.
Yeah.
But things do happen. And what do I mean by that? So many cases to where people have been pulled over and there's no questions asked. It's get in here, and then we're gonna figure this out later because you match a certain description.
Right.
And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's not sugarcoat it. That's what's happening. So, with me, I have a plan. Something happens, I have to have a plan. I have to have a plan. So, again, when it hits home, that's when you start retweaking things and thinking, hey, maybe I need to look at this. And that's what we did. That's what we started doing, and as a family as well. And it's mentally draining, but you still have to go on. You still have to go on. So I can only imagine, and I've seen our community, I see my community, when I pulled up right next to them and say hello, the look and the fear in their eyes. You could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it. And it's heartbreaking, to see that.
Have any other festival organizers reached out as far as advice on what they should do? Has that been a conversation at all?
No, I have not spoken with them, but I'm sure they do an amazing job.
Yeah.
They do an amazing job. The other this festival is doing an amazing job. I've been around longer than us as well. And I'm sure that they're taking safety measures as well. I'm sure that they want the best for the community. And I have no doubt that that hopefully nothing happens. I have no doubt that they'll have a lot of considerations, and those conversations. What do we do if? Right? The if. What if?
Right.
So I do wish them the best. I do.
2026. What does that look like?
Oh my goodness.
Do we have a festival in 2026?
Yeah. That's. So 2026 is right around the corner, right?
Yeah.
Do we start planning? And that's what we're doing. So we're starting to plan for 2026. And the question is, will it happen? And the best answer I can give you is, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. I can't see the future. I don't know what's a year from now the temperature will be like. Would it be, is the immigration temperature going to be hotter? Is it going to fizzle out, or is it going to remain? Now, I will tell you this, if it stays the same, it might be a conversation that we may not do it again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if it's important enough for 1 year, why is it not important next year? To me, yeah, it's a lot of money that people want to come out and stuff, but again, that's not worth it to me. It's not. Safety for our community comes first. To me, to us.
Rick, before I get you out of here, what does the rest of this year look like? What does 2026 look like for you personally, aside from the festival, aside from all that comes with it, if there will be a festival or not in 2026? What does this look like, the rest of the year, 2026, look like for you?
I hope it ends up being the year that it's been. Well, maybe less stressful. Maybe less stressful. I wish it was less stressful. So all I can maybe best summarize that as I've not taken a vacation in a couple of years, so maybe hopefully I can go to the mountains and kind of relax.
Yeah.
That would be my ultimate goal, if I could do something personally just to get away for a little bit and maybe a few days and relax and get away from all the stuff that's going around, right?
Yeah.
And but I appreciate the question and appreciate the time here with y'all. It's important for people that have never known about the festival canceling or never knew that the festival existed. If I can invite them to visit our social media platforms at Hispanic Heritage Festivals of the Carolinas, then they could probably see or keep in touch if you wanted to come to the event and see what would bring to the community. We'd love to have you.
A vacation doesn't sound bad, Carlene. It doesn't sound bad at all, Rick. I completely understand. Rick, thank you for taking time to be here. It was a pleasure talking to you about it. Again, that's Rick Herrera, founder of the Hispanic Heritage Festival that happens in Uptown. Great conversation here. Rick, hold on tight. Don't go anywhere. We're going to shift gears for a moment. Carlene, where do we want to go? We want to go back? Okay, we want to go back to the Oval Office right now. President Trump is meeting with South Korean president as we speak. Let's take a listen in.
And I think he said 51 times. But at that time, it was the whole of Korea. It wasn't, north and south. And after he explained it, I said, all right, not going to be that easy. I guess you're right. But, you had one Korea, and it was a very big, powerful nation. Now you have two big, powerful nations, but you have essentially a wall in between.
Can you elaborate the comments, the post and comments you made on South Korea early this morning, like raids on churches, going into U.S. military base, purge, revolution. How do you think about it? And 이재명 대통령께도 질문드리겠는데요. 저희가 이제 빛의 혁명이나 이게 내란 사태 극복하는 과정에서 이런 일들이 좀 벌어졌다고 말씀하신 것 같아요. 그 부분 설명해 주시죠.
I heard from Intel that there was a raid on churches. We're going to talk about that later. I haven't spoken about it yet, but when we meet. And, that would be too bad if that's the case. But I did hear that from Intel, that there was a raid on churches, closing some churches. So we'll talk about that later. I could ask you now if you want.
Mr. President, what conversation?
Wait a minute, please, if you'd like. Because it didn't sound to me like South Korea.
간단하게 말씀을 드리면 지금 대한민국은 아시는 것처럼 친위 쿠데타로 인한 혼란이 이제 극복된 지 얼마 안 된 상태고 그 내란 상황에 대한 국회가 임명하는 국회가 주도하는 특검에 의해서 사실 조사가 진행 중입니다. 물론 저의 통제하에 있지는 않지만 하여튼 대한민국 검찰이 하는 일은 검사가 하는 일은 팩트 확인, 팩트 체크인데 미군을 직접 수사한 게 아니고 그 부대 안에 있는 한국군의 통제 시스템이 어떻게 작동했나를 확인한 것 같습니다. 나중에 좀 더 자세히 설명을 드리도록 하겠습니다.
So it hasn't been long since Korea has overcame the political turmoil following the self-coup by the former president. Currently, there is a fact-finding investigation by a special prosecutor that was appointed by the National Assembly. And this special prosecutor...
Is his name Deranged Jack Smith, by any chance? They took him from our country. They put Deranged Jack. He's a deranged, sick individual. But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm only kidding. Maybe I'm not.
And that special prosecutor is not under my control. And so the special prosecutor is conducting a fact-finding investigation. And I would like to explain about what you said about U.S. bases. They did not conduct a search and seizure of American bases, but they looked into the chain of command and the control system of the Korean military.
Right.
And I would be happy to
That's okay.
explain about this more in detail
I'm sure it's,
during our lunch meeting.
I am sure it's a misunderstanding, but you know, there is a rumor going around about churches, raiding churches, so we'll talk. I'm sure that's going to be worked out fine. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President, what conversations have you had with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about what is going on in Gaza? There was a UN-backed report that said there was a famine in Gaza. Based on what you know and what you've been briefed on, do you agree with that?
So, I mean, I deal with Bibi Netanyahu quite a bit, and we had great success, obviously, in Iran. We knocked out their nuclear threat. That would have been a horror show having them have a nuclear weapon. They would have used it, too. We did very well there. Right now, they're talking about Gaza City. There's always talking about something. At some point, it's going to get settled. And I'm saying you better get it settled soon. You have to get it settled soon. And that means, you know, nobody can forget October 7th. People forget October 7th. That was one of the most brutal. I've seen some terrible things, some brutal things. That was about as bad as it gets. And nobody can forget that. With that being said, it's got to get over with. It's got to get over with because between the hunger and all of the other problems, worse than hunger, death, pure death, people being killed. And, you know, I'm the one that brought back the hostages, and I did it with that gentleman right there, Steve Witkoff, and with Marco. All of us, the whole team, we worked together. Even the trade people worked on it with us. And we brought back a lot of the hostages. Now we're left with, would you say 20, Steve, or would you say it's less than 20?
I hope it's 20.
He hopes it's 20 because some could be dead. That's what he means, I assume. So we have 20, but there's rumors that some could be dead. It's a terrible situation over there, terrible, terrible situation. But it's coming to a head, it's coming to an end. We are sending, you know, we sent $60 million of food over there just recently. And I don't even know if people know it. We distributed ourselves. We're giving a lot of food, spending a lot of money on food, getting it over there. We have a lot of food. We have a lot of oil, and we have the greatest farmers in the world. So we have a lot of food, but we're sending a lot of it over to Gaza, and we're feeding a lot of people. But with all of that being said, it's a lot of people to feed. And I think that we will have, I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have a pretty good conclusive a conclusive ending. And it's a hard thing to say because they've been fighting for thousands of years. If you want to know, that's been a hotbed forever. But I think we're doing a very good job. But it does have to end. But people can't forget October 7th even.
Do you plan to attend APEC summit to be held in Korea?
Summit in South Korea?
Yes, South
yeah,
Korea.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Last time I spoke in front of your parliament, and I love doing that. Beautiful, beautiful respect they had for our country, and a beautiful room. I remember how beautiful it was, and I enjoyed doing it. No, I could see going. I think I'm going for a trade meeting to South Korea pretty soon. You're hosting a trade meeting. So I can sneak away from that trade meeting and we'll go and do something for the president if he'd like me to do that, okay? But so we'll be going there fairly soon.
If you attend, then it's a good chance to meet up Kim Jong-un again, or maybe Xi Jinping. Then how do you think of it?
You mean set them up together?
Yes.
That'd be interesting. We'll arrange a meeting between you and Kim Jong-un. Would you like that? That's a very tough question right now. I don't know where that question is leading. Anyway, look, I get along great with Kim Jong-un.
All right, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. We are approaching the bottom of the hour, 1:28. That is President Donald Trump. They're meeting in the Oval Office with South Korean President He's taking questions right now. They have been taking questions for some time now, but let's shift away from this, and we want to come back home to a story that we are continuing to follow. A deadly stabbing in South End. And we do know a suspect has been arrested, but this stabbing happened on the light rail train late Friday evening. One person is dead. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is following the story. Jesse, what can you tell us about the victim?
So CMPD did identify her as 23-year-old Irina Zakutska. To my understanding, we don't know what led up to the stabbing, but she was stabbed Friday night near the station, the Blue Line station along Camden Road, which is where the West Boulevard, East Boulevard meet in South End. Now, there was a GoFundMe page that was started by loved ones, and I've been kind of reaching out to some folks who know her and seeing some of the tributes that have been out there for her. But they say she came from Ukraine, escaping war, coming here for a fresh start. And this has been a tragic end to her life. A man was also arrested. Now, this is 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown. He was also hurt in the incident, so he is actually at the hospital. Once he is released from the hospital, he'll be arrested right away, facing, I believe, murder charges in this case. He actually also has like a long rap sheet, and it's a big criminal record, and so forth. So, we know that he'll be arrested at some point, once he gets out of the hospital. But either way, when it comes to the victim's family and so forth, and friends and so forth, what I've been seeing is that she was a sweet young woman, that she went to school, that she, again, came to the United States not too a few years ago. And this was just a fresh start, getting away from what she was having to deal with in Ukraine. So we are hoping to speak to a friend or family friend in the next half an hour, and hopefully get to hear more about her and this tragedy and how this is impacting them. Nick?
Yeah, tragic situation there, Jesse. Jesse, en route to again talk to a family friend there. So Jesse, we'll let you get on your way. Be safe on the road. You can catch Jesse at 5 and 6 this evening on WCNC Charlotte and WCNC Plus. Jesse, thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.
All right, so that's Jesse Pierre. Again, you can catch her at 5 and 6 o'clock. All right, so we're following that story. Again, we are continuing to follow other developing stories. And what's happening right now live, actually, and just popped up on my screen. So CMS, first day back to school, along with other counties, but CMS back to school, they're having their midday press conference, a check-in on how the first day of school is going. Let's take a listen in. It just started. Let's take a listen in. Again, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
At Sedgefield Montessori, we provide an authentic, high-fidelity Montessori education for students in grades pre-K through 6th grade. Lessons for students in our multi-grade classrooms begin with hands-on materials in carefully prepared learning environments. The Montessori curriculum incorporates practical life skills, peace education, and independent decision-making. The Sedgefield Montessori community originated at the Amy James Montessori campus and relocated here from the Park Road Montessori campus as part of the 2023 bond package approved by the voters of Mecklenburg County. Renovation construction on our campus began in the summer of 2024 and concluded last Friday, just in time to receive students today. I could go on and on listing the many wonderful improvements and upgrades made possible by the bond package. Instead, I will highlight a few that are especially meaningful to our Montessori community. The Memorial Garden was relocated from the Park Road campus. It honors loved ones who have passed away with a connection to Amy James Montessori, Park Road Montessori, and Sedgefield Montessori. We are thankful to have this garden at the Sedgefield campus, honoring the lives and legacy of over 30 years of CMS public Montessori students, staff, and alumni. The Peace Garden relocation honors the long-standing tradition of celebrating Peace Day with the entire Montessori community. Last year for Peace Day, we released butterflies and gathered in the area where the garden is now installed. We are excited to be able to celebrate in the same garden from the Park Road campus here at Sedgefield moving forward. The installation of exterior doors from classrooms provides direct access to garden areas, including newly installed raised garden beds, extending the learning environment for students who incorporate gardening into their daily Montessori lessons. Practical life kitchen areas have been installed in upper and lower elementary hallways, allowing students to incorporate care for themselves and the environment into their daily routines by baking, cooking, cleaning, and maintaining laundry. We are eager to get students busy in these amazing classrooms. We are grateful to the Mecklenburg County voters for approving the 2023 bond package. All of the improvements to our campus have positively impacted student learning and academic achievement. Sedgefield Montessori is currently boasting a school performance grade of B. We look forward to sharing achievement outcomes for the 24-25 school year soon. After this briefing, I invite you to join me for a tour of the campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Moore. And now, our Superintendent, Dr. Crystal Hill.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge our board members who are with us this afternoon. We have Vice Chair Rankin with us, Board Member Klein with us, and Board Member Easley. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today for our midday update on the morning of our first day of school. Simply put, it has been an absolute fantastic and smooth start to the 25-26 school year. I started my day bright and early this morning at our North Point transportation lot, and I had the opportunity to ride the bus this morning and stop at several stops for Elizabeth Traditional Elementary School, and I was there to greet students and parents. I also had the opportunity to visit Garinger High School, Mary Oaks, Elizabeth Traditional, as I mentioned, and today earlier took a tour of Sedgefield Montessori. Our 858 buses rolled out this morning to begin transporting students across Mecklenburg County, and now they are about to begin their afternoon routes. As we speak, our school nutrition teams are wrapping up the lunch service after serving breakfast to all students. As a reminder, every single student in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools has the opportunity to enjoy free breakfast. Here today to share more with you about our first day of school is Deputy Superintendent Dr. Melissa Balknight.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Hill. Happy back to school. Time for our students, parents, and staff to get ready to learn. Today is filled with excitement, anticipation, and endless possibilities. Across our district, classrooms are buzzing with energy as students walk in with fresh notebooks, sharpened pencils, and the most important thing, a smile. And behind those smiles are the teachers, leaders, and staff who make this day and every day possible for our students. This year, we continue to remain deeply committed to our academic mission, ensuring that every student has access to rigorous learning opportunities, strong supports, and the encouragement they need to reach their full potential. We know that children are our core business, and they are at the heart of what we do, and we focus our attention to both engagement and growth so that every child can thrive. I want to take a moment to remind everyone about expectations around personal technology devices. While technology can be a powerful tool for connection and learning, our classrooms are places for focus, curiosity, and collaboration. To protect that space, personal devices should not be used during instructional time. We ask our students to stay fully present with their teachers and classmates so they can make the most of every learning opportunity. Parents and students should reference the Code of Conduct for more information about this. Of course, none of this will be possible without the dedicated professionals who serve our students every single day. just a few examples of excellence across our district today and every day. At Steel Creek Elementary, for example, first grade students will work their partners in math on number sense concepts. Students had to justify their answers, and they were able to use math manipulatives on the first day of school. At Inhaven Elementary, our fifth grade students were writing and observing as they were working through an experiment they were conducting in their science lab on the first day of school. Staff and students at Shamrock Elementary were reading their text, First Day Jitters, to the class and making a connection between student wellness and morning meeting. Fifth grade students at Barnett Elementary were engaged in strong instruction on day one. Math students were learning about cubic volume, and literacy students were engaged in referencing and inferencing embedded to get to know you. So all of our schools that we visited this morning were ready to go, and students were learning on the very first day of school, as we expect. Earlier this morning, I was also excited to join the student assignment team as they welcome families into the new school year with a smooth registration process. Our partners at Novant Health were also on site providing physicals and immunizations to make sure students were ready for their first day. These stories are a reflection of the care, creativity, and commitment that make our schools special. As we begin this new school year, let's to the joy of learning, the importance of relationships, and the power of possibility. Together, we'll make this year one of great success, growth, and celebration for every student. Welcome back, and let's make it a great school year. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Tim Ivey, our Chief Operating Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balknight. And I'm so excited to be here at Sedgefield Montessori, the first completed project of the 2023 bond. As was stated earlier, site improvements include Peace and Memorial Gardens as well as Montessori-specific practical life classrooms and new exterior doors that provide access to garden beds and planters outside each room. We're so thrilled to be able to provide this for students here in CMS. As Dr. Hill mentioned earlier, too, we had a great start to the 25-26 school year with transportation and school nutrition. We saw no major delays, and free breakfast was served to all of our students, or provided for all of our students. Our facilities team also has been out this morning supporting schools with no major facility needs being reported at this time. I want to say thank you to the thousands of members of the operational team who worked diligently behind the scenes to kick off another amazing school year. Also this week, schools will begin training students on our new standard response protocol. I love you guys. This standard response protocol provides clear, consistent actions and language for schools to use in the event of an emergency. We know that this is going to be a great addition to our layered approach to school safety. Now, before I turn it back over to Dr. Hill, I want to once again remind everyone of a few things. Parents should download the Here Comes the Bus app and use Alpha Route via cmsk12.org/buses. Everyone is reminded to please be at their bus stop 10 minutes before scheduled time all this week. And I want to remind everyone that it is illegal and extremely dangerous to pass a stopped school bus with its stop arm extended. Please practice patience this week and caution as we welcome back our 141,000 students and families who navigate to and from school. And lastly, a very important reminder about school safety. As I have stated numerous times, school safety is our top priority. So as we begin the 25-26 school year, I want to be very clear that CMS will not tolerate inappropriate behaviors from students, staff, or community members who put the safety of others at risk. That is not to say that we will not follow due process, but as guardrail number 3 states, without safety and security, our students, staff, and community cannot thrive, and we will not allow behaviors of this nature to disrupt our purpose and the right that all students and staff have to learn and work in a safe environment. School safety is a community effort. It involves everyone. It involves law enforcement, school staff, parents, students, and community members. So if you see something, we urge you to say something. I'll now turn it back over to Dr. Hill for closing remarks.
Thank you, Chief Ivy. And as a reminder, families can visit our Back to School website at www.cmsk12.org/back-to-school for our top 10 things to know and other information related to the new school year. That concludes the information that we wanted to share with you this afternoon, and at this time, we will entertain questions. Susan Vernon Devlin will be facilitating the conversation.
Okay. The first hand I saw, Jonathan Lowe.
Perfect. Good afternoon to you all. I probably would be remiss if I didn't say it's been a boring start to the school year for us. And so I guess that echoes what you all have seen. Certainly feels like you all are in a routine. But I did want to ask about Infinite Campus and registrations. Dr. Balknight, I know you said that things ran smoothly, but I heard it from at least one parent who said that they did have some issues registering their student, had to do a paper application. Can you give us an update on, you know, if there were issues with getting kids registered? I know that parent was able, the school, like you said, last time we talked about this, they went to the school was able to help them out. But considering the fact that there may be parents out there that haven't gotten the message, can you give us an update again on where registrations stand and where the Infinite Campus new accounts stand?
Thank you. Great question. So first thing, I will tell you that we have about 53,000 families that have already completed their Infinite Campus enrollment for the portal account. That's about 37% of our parent population, and we believe that that will continue to increase this week so that we feel that we're on track for that. I will say to you, we have about 130 more students this time last year than last year, if I said that correctly, that need to be enrolled. So we do have about 130 plus more students that haven't completed registration. But as I said in my comments earlier, I started my morning at student registration just to see how things were going. We had lots of families there that were enrolling. I would encourage families moving forward, if they go to our website and put their address in, they can complete the process anywhere. They don't have to go to the student assignment office. They could do it on their phone. They can go to their child's school. Many of those families go to the student assignment office because they don't know their school location. We did have a few paper copies that parents completed over the summer as we were transitioning from Power School to Infinite Campus, but we believe all of those have been cleared. So there may have been one that we weren't aware of, but like I said, I spent several hours at student assignment. Parents were happy, engaged, feeling supported, going back to the school. It's nice to see the children in their back to school outfits and everyone was getting what they needed. And then the same thing's happening at the school as well. So we feel like we're in a good place because conversion from Power School, thanks to the team, and Chief Thompson is leading that work, from Power School to Infinite Campus to have 135 more than last year this time, and we made a complete conversion to a new platform. I believe, as I said earlier, we're in a good place with registration and enrollment.
Rebecca?
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, good afternoon. I just wanted to check in. I know last week at the back to school briefing, I think y'all said, I want to check in on vacancies basically. So y'all said that classroom vacancies, I think at that point stood at 228 and there were 97 bus driver vacancies. I wanted to check in on those numbers and also just sort of ask, you know, now that we're back to school today, how have you been sort of managing the vacancies that there still are?
We currently have 209 vacancies, and we're sitting at 97.8% fill rate.
Stephanie?
Hi, good afternoon. I wanted to ask about bus delays. I heard from some parents that were concerned about bus delays. What would you tell those parents, and have there been any widespread issues in terms of buses?
So we haven't seen any major bus delays this morning. What we did see was the normal first day. We saw drivers getting used to the routes and students getting used to being at the bus stops at the appropriate times, getting students to and from school with the navigation of all the additional traffic. Of course, always is a challenge the first day of school. We do introduce 141,000 students and their families back into the traffic pattern, and that does create some initial delays. But nothing that we have not seen, nothing unusual. And so as the week goes on, we typically see marked improvements and are able to report out to those on our Friday briefing.
Jonathan, you had another question? Oh. Oh. James.
Hi, happy back to school. Quick question. I know obviously there's been a lot of talk in the community in the last couple of weeks about ICE protocols and things like that. Just checking in, any activity with ICE in this first day or communication with federal officials at all, anything like that that's been reported?
We've had no communication or any information or interaction that we're aware of today.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Back to you, Jonathan.
Sorry to ask, but we were informed that 2 parents made it onto the campus of Palisades today with weapons. Can you all speak to that? How was that found out to be the case? And I know, Tim, you spoke to not tolerating that type of behavior. Seeing as how we had a prior issue at Palisades, can you speak to that in way, shape, or form?
I can. Now, the specifics of the information are still with CMPD, but we did have 2 individuals who made poor choices, and I do want to make sure that I emphasize that. It's a poor choice to bring any kind of weapon onto campus, and those were detected immediately, and then law enforcement was contacted immediately. There's a secure vestibule there at the school. That's where everybody is scanned. So at that point in time, they were indicated, and then the CMPD was called, and we actually were able to, go through the process for that. So arrests have been made.
We've seen that in the past. Can you speak to parents directly on
Yeah, it is illegal to bring weapons onto school grounds, and so we have scanners there for the purpose of catching students and parents who bring weapons or choose to bring weapons onto campus, and that's the purpose of that protocol, and we use that layered approach to certainly go through those standards.
Does it frustrate you at all?
I think that anytime that you have safety situations in schools and you work in education, it concerns you. I don't know that it is frustrating, but we're concerned. I have a deep care for our students and our community, as I think that all of our educators do. And so I think that what you've seen with our data from DPI, we are making great strides in CMS in deterring weapons being brought onto our campuses. And we are doing everything that we can to certainly deter that. But there's one thing you can't deter. You can't deter somebody's choice. Okay? But what happens when they make that choice to walk on the campus, we're responsible for that. And we responded immediately, and we took care of the situation. Like I said, arrests have been made. We take this very seriously, and we will not tolerate behavior like this.
Do we have any other questions? James?
Just wanted to follow up quickly on bus driver vacancies. I remember that was talked about at the press conference last week. I think there was 95, and you said all routes were covered. Just wondering, going forward into the school year, does that pose any challenges, and what are the plans to kind of address that?
So this morning, as of this morning's press conference, we had 98 bus driver vacancies. We had all of those routes covered. We typically juggle around 95 to 98 vacancies. Sometimes I'm very skilled at making sure that those routes are all covered. So we're not seeing any delays and do not anticipate any delays with that number of vacancies.
Thanks.
Miles, Katie, do you have any questions? Katie?
We just got word from a parent that there was a bus that was about an hour and a half late. I believe the Summers Corner neighborhood. Another one said about an hour and a half, 2 hours late. Any response to that? I know you said you expect those to be flushed out and fixed by the end of the week, but anything in the short term that you'd like to address?
No, not particularly. I think that those were due to the increased.
All right, so you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. Right there is the midday press conference that's happening for CMS. First day back to school for many kids, including ones within the CMS school district. We want to shift away now to some breaking news that we have been keeping our eye on. We want to dip into this coverage. This is from our content partners there in Arkansas, Springdale, Arkansas. Thank you. This is near Fayetteville, Arkansas, right? Guys, it's near Fayetteville, Arkansas, right? Yes, okay. North of Fayetteville. Okay. So there's an active shooter reported on campus at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. Again, reported active shooter on campus. Again, our content partners there are live continuous coverage. Let's listen in to what's being reported and what's being said right now in their live coverage.
There have been any injuries right now. This is exactly what it said. Avoid the area of Mullins Library due to an active shooter reported. Avoid, deny, defend. And again, Fayetteville police have told us they are clearing out the library room by room right now. That's really all of the information that we have, but really every minute we're hearing more from police. We've also reached out to the university. We have multiple crews that are headed there who will give us live reports from the scene, tell us what's going on. Okay, if you hear silence, I'm hearing information coming in, but our crews there are telling us that basically there's a very large law enforcement presence there, which you could see from that video as well. And yeah, police from all over the area you may be seeing driving in that direction. If you live in that area, as you can see in this video, hearing lots of sirens, this is what's going on, that there has been an active shooter reported at the library. Our crews are sending us back videos and pictures we can probably get on here pretty soon. I'm seeing fire trucks in their videos, and just a lot of police cars from different agencies helping out there. So again, we will hopefully take one of our crews live here to show exactly what's going on and continue to update you on this both on air and online. Again, we know multiple agencies are helping out. No injuries have been reported. Okay, I'm hearing from a reporter that's on scene. We're hopefully going to take her soon, Laura Castleman, saying that she's seeing state troopers there on scene on campus with their weapons drawn. So hopefully we'll take Laura in just a few minutes. Again, Fayetteville police saying no injuries have been reported up to this point, but that they're evacuating every room of the library right now. And again, this is at Mullins Library on U of A campus, very central near the Student Union in that just middle area of campus. And they're evacuating every room, saying avoid that area. And that's what we know right now. And we have at least 3 crews that are heading to the scene, different areas. Again, getting videos of multiple law enforcement agencies. Here's a visual of where Mullins Library is on campus. A lot around there. Very central area. Yeah, and we're expecting to hear from that crew that's there on scene in just a moment. Again, Laura Castleman was telling us that she has seen near the library state troopers with their weapons drawn. Very heavy law enforcement presence, evacuating people, keeping that area clear. So we're hopefully going to hear from her or one of our other crews that's there in just a moment on this. Okay. I'm going to Yes, I'm going to recap this in case you're just tuning in. University of Arkansas has issued an alert to students about an active shooter at the Mullins Library there in the middle of campus. And Fayetteville Police is telling us that they have officers there on scene. We also know there are state troopers on scene, multiple agencies evacuating the library. They have said no injuries are reported yet. They told us that, just about 10 minutes ago. As of then, no injuries reported yet. But there is a threat to safety. They're telling people to avoid the area. They're clearing the library room by room right now. And we have multiple crews on scene sending us videos of fire trucks, lots of law enforcement, lots of sirens going on. Here's that alert again from the university sent out to students over text and email. We were getting reports of this to our newsroom as soon as it went out at 12:27 today. And then we were able to confirm with University Police and Fayetteville Police that they were on scene and that this was going on there. Again, thankfully so far they're saying no injuries have been reported. Okay, and we're about to show some new video here from our crews. Jacob Luthi is on scene right now sending us this video. You can just see how many police officers are there near the library, fire trucks. Yeah. And again, this is video coming in from Jacob Luthi. He's one of our reporters. We have Jacob Luthi, Laura Castleman, Claire Everbach, and more headed to the scene. And we are waiting on a live report, I believe from Laura, that should be coming in soon. So we're just going to stay with this. I think we're about to take a live look. This is a live look at the scene right now. And Laura was telling us she saw officers with their weapons drawn. You can see that here. And this is outside of the library, it looks like. We don't, okay. Yeah.
Patrolling the streets of the nation's capital to start carrying their service weapons. They are being told that use of force should be an absolute last resort. Right now, more than 2,200 troops are patrolling the district. Meanwhile, a political showdown is unfolding between President.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back in just 2 short minutes.
All right, welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. Carlene's here, James here, Jeb's here. We have a full house. Thank you for being with us and continuing to stay with us here again on Live Impact News. We have been following a lot from CMS's midday press conference to a report of an active shooter on the campus of the University of Arkansas. Our content partners there have been following it. As soon as we get more information, more coverage, we will send that back out there to you and update you here on Live Impact News. But in the meantime, we want to get an update on our forecast. Becca said it's getting cooler, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Carlene is not.
I'll take it. It's fine.
She's not necessarily a fan. We understand. It's cool.
I'm a summer girl, you know.
She's a summer girl. All right, let's get a check on our forecast. Here's Majestic Storm.
Well, good Monday afternoon to you. I'm WCNC meteorologist Majestic Storm. I hope you had a great weekend, and finally we get sunny skies this week. Not only that, but overall our temperatures, they'll stay pretty comfortable. We were able to send those kiddos off to school today with plenty of sunshine. We had a fantastic bus stop forecast, and now as they're coming home from school, it's a gorgeous day out there. I mean, many of us, doesn't matter where you're watching from, we really get sunny skies and comfortable conditions. Daytime highs today will rise right around those mid-80s. We'll stay dry as well. I mean, we're talking blue skies and a whole lot of sunshine. Not just today, but really even Tuesday through Friday. It will be a little cooler than where we should be for this time of the year, but nonetheless, still comfortable to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. And another thing we'll be watching will be those cooler overnight lows and those cool morning time hours. I'm not kidding you. We'll see some 50s and 60s heading our way. And hey, if you're making plans for our Labor Day weekend, generally very mild conditions, and we do have some chances for a few isolated showers. We'll get to that. Comfortable for our lunchtime forecast. Daytime highs today. Let's take you up to the mountains. Sunny with highs only rising into the 60s and 70s. 67 degrees today in Banner Elk. 83 for our good friends out there in Morganton. A beautiful day there. Much of the same over towards Hickory. As we head around the Charlotte area, 86 will be where we'll top off this afternoon. Over towards Shelby, 86 is your high as well. 87 from Monroe out towards Wadesboro, and 89 for Lancaster. Now our daytime highs, yeah, they're going to be warm. It'll still be a little muggy today, but notice our lows as we're heading into the next 4 mornings. This means as we're heading really through Wednesday and Thursday, I think we're going to feel a little bit of that chill in the air, especially for those kiddos who will be waiting at a bus stop. Might be a good idea to send them with a sweatshirt. I mean, we're talking about the opportunity to see some 50-degree temperatures, not low 50s, really those mid to upper 50s. Satellite and radar this afternoon across the Carolinas looking fantastic, and this is how the day will play out. So sending the kids off to school with nice weather by the time they're coming home from school. Still a good afternoon to send them outside to play. Maybe they have an after-school sports activity. It's going to be enjoyable. Low 80s by tomorrow, though. This is going to be a big part of our weather story this week, will be how a cold front pulls in drier air. We'll get to that, but you can really see this displayed well in our 10-day forecast. 86 degrees today. Our average high for this time of the year, it's 88. So we're already starting out the week a little bit below, but really you'll notice a little bit of that drop in temperatures by Tuesday and into Wednesday. Low 80-degree temperatures all the way really through Thursday and Friday. That cold front continues to slide out of here, and as it does so, back behind it, it does not uptick our rain or storm chances, but rather it pulls in some of that cooler northerly air, and that's why our daytime highs will struggle to get to where they should be for this time of the year. So basically, it's a dry, cold front. Over the next 10 days, your lawn may need a little water here and there. Don't forget about those flowers or gardens either. Here's the lows over the next 10 days. I mean, 50s and 60s, that's going to feel pretty nice, especially for all you early risers who like to wake up. You like to go out for your morning run or walk. You want to leash up your fur babies. It's going to be quite enjoyable. Again, mostly sunny skies this afternoon, a high of 86 degrees, even comfortable around dinner time or so. Might be a good night to fire up the barbecue, have some dinner outside. 63 tonight, 81 tomorrow. So while it is going to be a little cooler, 80s, I don't think anyone's really complaining about that today or tomorrow. Stay close to the WCNC weather team. We'll keep you up to date with the very latest, and have a fantastic Monday.
All right, so that is Majestic with the full forecast. All right, so we want to get to some more breaking news that we've been keeping our eye on here in the newsroom. We've been keeping our eye on this for quite some time, but we just wanted to make sure we had some information to give you. So this is happening in the Lake Wiley area in Gaston County. Take a look at this post. It's from Belmont Police. So this is what that has been posted. Heavy police presence in that area. Let me pull up the post.
You've been following this. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so I've made this a little bit bigger so it's easier for all of us to read, including myself. But as you can say, heavy police presence. This is in Belmont, North Carolina, in Gaston County. They are specifically asking residents or anyone who may be in the area along the river. This is near Lake Wiley, near the intersections of Catawba Cove Drove, the Conservancy, and Daniel Stowe Botanical Gardens to stay indoors. If you're outside of that area, and you're trying to get back to a home or a business that might be in the area, do avoid this area. We can confirm that due to the police activity, as you look at Google Maps here, kind of get a wider view of the area. We zoom in, so you can see that the bridge right here, which is North Carolina 279 South New Hope Road, that is closed due to the police activity. It's kind of right here in this area. It's a little inlet off of the Lake Wiley, off of the Catawba River area, right at the state line, right where North Carolina, South Carolina come together. It is in the Gaston County area. We know police are on scene. We know Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department is assisting. We can see that there are helicopters flying over the area. We know Belmont PD is on scene as one of the agencies, so we gave them a call to try to get some more information after sharing their Facebook post. We've also reached out to Gaston County Schools to see if there's any impact about schools. We haven't heard back from them just yet, but kind of just walking you through a little bit of the process here, Nick. A lot of people will probably know this area because of the Daniel Stowe Conservancy.
Yep. Very familiar area. We're keeping an eye on this. Not a ton of information in detail about
what is this.
Yeah, no, according to the Facebook post, they're describing it as a threat, quote, currently contained on the river. End quote. So what we can kind of take from that and some of the other information we're putting together is that the police are working to resolve an incident involving something on the river, but we don't believe it has any threat or any impact to anyone elsewhere in the area, other than they're asking people along the immediate shoreline that we can see in this Facebook post to essentially just stay off the water, stay off the coast,
out
stay
of caution,
indoors, stay out of right.
And that's it's strange to say, a bit of good news being that it's confined to in the river, in a small area in the river, and folks there on land in the houses.
Right. We don't believe there was any threat to the public.
Yeah.
We believe their police are working to resolve an isolated incident, but just to keep people out of harm's way, they put out this alert. Because the other thing you got to think about is we've got people who are out on boats. People might be out hiking.
Yeah, you're right.
So you might not be as connected as you normally are.
Right.
And so I think that's why they're trying to utilize all their resources to reach people in the area.
Fantastic context and a great update there. Again, we've been keeping our eye on this for a little bit.
Put out the calls to schools and everything, try to see larger impacts. We haven't heard back yet, but when we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and more importantly, figure out what exactly is happening.
What exactly is this? Yeah.
On the river there. So we will come back to this as soon as we get more updates. I promise, as soon as we get anything, we will update you here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We're also following a report of an active shooter on the University of Arkansas. We were going to head over, I just want to be transparent, we were going to head over to our content partners there.
It appears they've taken a break.
Yeah. But here's what, I want to give a quick update to the information that they are reporting. All right. So here's what we have so far. An active shooter has been reported at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. That's according to the university's alert system. The alleged shooter was reported near Mullins Library. U of A has confirmed to Arkansas University of Arkansas Police Department that police are on campus evacuating students right now. Fayetteville Police told our content partners that they are also on scene clearing the library. No reports of any injuries. And it looks like we got our content partners there. Again, this is 5 News there in the Fayetteville, Arkansas area, covering this story at the University of Arkansas. Let's take a listen in on what they have so far.
Data as to what's happening on campus, Jacob.
Yeah, Darren, can I get your name, please?
Jacob Coleman.
Jacob Coleman, student here at the University of Arkansas. Just talk to me a little bit about what you saw, a little about your experience. How were you first notified? Talk to me a little bit about just your experience and where you were told to go.
Yeah, so I was eating lunch in the Union, and my class was coming up, so I left the Union to go start walking to Bell, which is past Mullins. And as I was walking, I started seeing people starting to run, and I thought it was a little weird. And then shortly after that, I got a notification from the university through Raz Alerts that said there was an active shooter in the library and to stay away. But I mean, I was kind of right by it, so I mean, I just kind of turned and walked away with everyone else.
Anything, now, well, I want to go ahead and if we could show just that line of cars right there. Of all the emergency vehicles, you see Washington County Sheriff's, unmarked vehicles, ASP, so on and so forth. Talk to me a little bit about anything that you heard, anything that you saw. Was there a noise? Were people running?
I mean, I didn't hear anything, like no shots or anything, of course, but like I saw like the officers running in with weapons drawn. I mean, I've had some people that talked to me and said like there's been all types of things coming from there. People are saying they have told me that they might have people held, or the gun was just dropped, or there's been a lot of different things. I just don't know what really is true yet.
Yeah. And obviously we're working to confirm all that information, but again, look at there's a lot of traffic here. This is right off Garland here, right in front of the university. Again, we were just moved from Mullins. We were told to move from this way. Talk to me about the library this time of day, in the middle of the day.
It's usually pretty busy. A lot of people eat their lunch in there and study for this is kind of like a break in classes for a lot of students around lunchtime, so it's usually pretty busy. We eat lunch in there and just study in between classes. So yeah, pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jacob. Darren Morgan, again, we're going to be here. Sorry, there's officers.
I didn't know they were moving y'all, but y'all are more than welcome to go down Garland.
Okay. Okay.
But where all those blue lights are, there's plenty of students in large
Okay.
groups.
Darren Morgan, we're being moved to another location. So again, there's this line of cars here, a lot of heavy police presence right here, a lot of students waiting and watching to see what's going on here, but we're going to be here. We're going to try to get settled in a specific location so that we can stop moving, but that's the latest information that we have right now.
Okay, all right, Jacob, thanks, and it's good to hear from a student that is obviously okay. We can tell you that Robin Hearn, who was our sports reporter, was there on campus inside Razorback Stadium covering practice for football, and they were told to lock down. And so she right now is locked down inside Razorback Stadium, and she's telling us that she's seeing a lot of police cars going by. She did send me a picture of the parking lot there, but I'm not seeing in the picture that she sent me that shows a lot of police presence there, at least at Razorback Stadium. But again, I would assume that there are a number of other buildings that are on campus that are also locked down.
Yeah. And we know Laura, I don't know if Laura is technically on lockdown, but she is in a group of students. She was told to move, she needed to move inside. So we can't take her live right now because she's in that situation.
We're trying to get her on the phone, though.
Yes, we would like to get her on the phone.
Okay.
Before that, we're going to go back to Claire Everbach, who is outside on campus. So let's go to Claire right now.
Asked to move again away from Mullen Library where there was an active shooter reported. So we're on Maple Street now. I'm going to go ahead and let Joel show you what we're seeing. Behind me you can see all sorts of law enforcement. It's really backed up bumper to bumper with police cars here. Students are still being asked to avoid the area, and everyone is being asked to stand back away from the street for their own safety. We haven't gotten any other update yet, but of course we will continue to keep you posted. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, that police presence is going to be pretty much everywhere around Mullen Library, if not around there, around campus, at making sure that obviously all students are safe. Am I hearing Laura on the phone right now?
Yes, yeah, Darren, can you hear me?
Laura, yeah, go ahead and tell us where you are and what's going on right now.
Absolutely, yes. So right when I arrived on scene, it seemed like officers were going inside the building, and then we were immediately told to move into the Union, and we are up here in the Multicultural Center. There's a group of 20 to 30 of us. It seems like kids are notifying their parents that everything is okay, but the U.S. Marshal did just come in and asked for anybody that was there in the Mullins Library that saw anything to go and to speak to them privately. So they are currently doing that, but I'm sitting here and staying here and just staying safe right now.
What's the mood of those who are in that room with you right now?
I'm not gonna lie, the people seemed pretty relaxed. People are talking. A lot of people are on their cell phones. Obviously, talking to loved ones, but the mood seems relaxed. People are able to go to the bathroom. I know that, so it's they're able to walk around and move, but not too tense at the moment.
Okay, thank you for that, Laura. We also know that we have Bo Russell headed to Washington Regional right now. Again, we have no injuries reported, but this is Laura there on the phone taking shelter.
Laura, if you can still hear me, how many police, what's the police presence up in that room besides what you mentioned, the U.S. Marshal up there?
It is just him. He is the only one up there, and they have gone off into a closed room. I do not see any other police presence. It just seems to be professors handling the rest of the situation, calming kids down.
And they're not letting anybody leave where you are right now, the student union?
I'm not had a confirmation. They've said they can keep us here, but, they said they can't keep us here. So I guess, yes.
Okay.
Where we're staying here out of safety. I prefer to stay here out of safety.
Yes, and I would imagine that's the students that are there are not going to go anywhere until they get some sort of an alert that says it's okay to leave. All right, Laura, thanks. We'll check back in with Laura Laura Castleman, who was one of the first on the scene, by the way, and got there and was immediately told to go into the student union under lockdown, and also under lockdown. We mentioned it a moment ago that Robin Hearn, our sports reporter, was out covering Razorback football practice and was told immediately locked down inside Razorback Stadium. And so that's where she is right now. So we have a few of our staff, we have a lot of our staff, well, all of our staff on campus right now. And it's a matter of there's 2 or 3 that can still move around, Jacob, Luthi, and Claire. And then we've got Robin and we've got Laura who are told to lock down.
Yes, and then we also are hearing now, as I mentioned, that is headed to Washington Regional. Again, last we heard from Fayetteville Police, there were no injuries reported, but that last update, it's been almost, I would say, 30 minutes since that.
Sure.
So Bo is on his way to Washington Regional right now, and like Darren mentioned, of course, hospitals are on standby, but that's
a routine part of this.
Protocol.
I would imagine that every hospital that is around this area has been put on notification just in case that there is some injuries involved in this. And like you mentioned, there has not been any report of any injuries in this just yet. And what we still don't know is if there is a shooter on campus, if that shooter is still on campus. We've not heard from any of the police, law enforcement just yet on campus as to what the actual situation is, other than there was a report that came out at 12:30, 12:25, that there was this active shooter and that students need to go on lockdown. And that's pretty much the last thing we've heard from any law enforcement on this just yet.
Now, Robin is just now telling us that she's in her car now, so it seems like they let them out there at Razorback Stadium. But she did say she can talk, so maybe we'll get her on the phone pretty soon.
Well, yeah, we could let's try to get Robin on the phone and see how she heard about this and what the mood was there. All right, we have Claire Everbach back again to tell us Claire, have you heard anything new from out there, and what's the situation where you are? Okay. Okay, we're having a little issue with Claire's microphone at this point. She can't hear us either, so we're doing the best we can with getting, there she is. Go ahead. I know she can't hear us, but go ahead and have her tell us what the situation is.
Yeah, she's ready.
Oh, you didn't say, okay.
Then she's ready.
It's a very active situation. Thank you for being patient
Okay.
with us. Looks like she got someone.
I'm joined by University of Arkansas professor Tricia Peterson. So to start out, can you please take us through what happened this afternoon and what you've heard?
Really, honestly, I was standing in my office. I looked out, heard the police come up, saw police officers going inside with guns and students running out. We declared active shooter and kind of have been holed up for the past 45 minutes. About 10 minutes ago, somebody came out and asked us to all leave the building to get out of the back of the building. And that's where we are.
So first you were asked to stay in the classroom and then you were asked to move outside.
First of all, we exercised active shooter regimen, which is everybody find a closet or a room without windows or doors, lock up, barricade in. So that's what we did at first, and we were in maybe for half an hour.
Is there anything else that you're being told, or there's any kind of protocol that you all need to follow?
Actually, we're all a little confused as to why we're outside, to be honest, why we were asked to leave the building, but we're not being told anything. We don't know anything besides this.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, we are still seeing a large police presence. Actually, now they've brought in officers from Springdale and Rogers too to help out. We'll continue to keep you updated. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, Claire. And we're just hearing from Laura that she's still in a lockdown. It is interesting, as they mentioned, some people are being told to stay outside. Some people, like Laura, are told you.
All right, so you're watching continuous coverage there from our content partners, KFSM. Again, reports of an active shooter on campus. So I do want to point out, we got a couple of updates from our content partners from across the country as we are continuing to eye updates on this reports of an active shooter on the campus of the University of Arkansas. So today, there has been a hoax active shooter call at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Iowa State University, same situation. Now, I just want to take you back. Not too long ago, the University of South Carolina, Villanova, and also the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga dealt with similar scares, but ended up not being founded. There was not actually an active shooter on campus. Now, I'm not saying that that is not the case here. Again, we are continuing to keep our eye on reports of an active shooter on the campus of the University of Arkansas. I just wanted to provide you some context and what we're getting and be transparent with you at home. All right, so we want to shift away from that and we want to go here. Here is this. This is where Belmont Police and other law enforcement officials are right now. And James did a great job of giving us some context on the situation there of a threat currently contained in the river between Catawba Cove Drive, the Conservancy, and the Daniel Stowe. It's not Botanical Garden anymore, right?
Conservancy.
Conservancy,
Yeah.
Okay. The Daniel Stowe Conservancy. And so police presence, I'm hesitating and saying heavy police presence. That's not what we see right now.
No, I should let y'all know this is video.
Okay. This is video. Okay.
I was going to say, because about 2 minutes ago, when we first got this signal coming in and Carlene started recording video, we saw that the police were on the bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Cars were moving.
Cars were moving, and then our photographer's feeding some of this recorded video back. You can see that cars were stopped just about 2-3 minutes ago.
Okay.
We saw just before this video playback started that traffic was moving across the bridge, which was a new development.
Yes. And so we're still trying to figure out what that incident is on the river, are things clear? There's still some questions that we're waiting to get updates. Again, we have a photographer there on the scene. This is video from moments ago. This is not live video, but we did show you a live shot of cars driving along that bridge. Again, just to recap, about an hour ago, Belmont Police sent out a post on Facebook saying, remain indoors. There's currently a heavy police presence in the area. And then they mapped out that area. And so that is basically they were talking about a threat contained in the river between Catawba Cove Drive, the Conservancy, and the Daniel Stowe Conservancy, just to give you an idea of where this is happening. And this is by the state line. This is what Southeast Gaston County Yes. From what we're getting from our assignment desk. So that's what we have so far. Not a lot of details on what the actual incident is that happened, but we have a photographer there on the scene. I wish we could show you a live picture of what's happening right now, but we will get you that as soon as we can. But again, this is video from moments ago. That bridge blocked off, as we saw earlier, and maybe you're just now tuning in.
Cars are moving.
Cars are moving.
I can tell you, looking at Flight Tracker, Nick, that
Yep.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, which is one of multiple agencies on scene, their helicopter is still circling the area.
Okay. Again, that's why, just because the bridge is back open doesn't mean the threat is not out there. So I do want you to take heed to that. Again, as far as we know, and I can refresh my page just to make sure. Again, Belmont Police haven't updated, but the warning is still remain indoors if you're there in that area. Let's go back now again we will continue to keep our eye on that, and I promise any new developments, we will pass that along. We will share that with you. Let's go back now to this breaking news and developing story out of University of Arkansas. So our content partners, KFSM, doing continuous coverage there of reports of an active shooter. The report came from the library on campus. I do want to point out, and again, just to give you context, that there have been hoax calls today at Iowa State University,
and
UT, University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
Yeah.
Again, those were hoax calls. Not saying this is. Again, I'm saying reports of an active shooter because right now that's all it is, reports of an active shooter. But let's listen in to what's happening right now and what our content partners are reporting.
For that, Joe. And again, he kind of mentioned, or Laura mentioned earlier, that they were questioning people that were in the library about what they saw. So definitely an investigation obviously going on. We just don't know what happened yet.
We haven't been told exactly yet. We do have another, at least somebody on campus that Jacob Luthi has found to talk about this. Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Darren. I'm joined here by Brady Atkins, student here at the University of Arkansas. Said that you were walking, kind of just left class. Talk to us again, just a little bit about what you saw, a little bit about your experience about this whole situation.
Yeah, so I was just walking to the right of the Mullins Library, and I'm just listening to my music, I guess, and I just see people start running out of the library. And I didn't think anything of it because I just thought it was like an event because it's the first week here, and I just kind of realized like everything was wrong, and after that I just kind of like took myself out of the area real quick, but I eventually came back and I saw y'all, and I mean it was kind of a crazy experience, but yes sir.
Yeah, a little bit about what you did. Did you get a text on your phone? Did you see the text at all, or did you kind of just, once you saw everybody move, you moved too?
Well, actually, my dad called me first, and he was asking about it, and then that's when I checked my phone and saw the text. So, he got called about, like his friend had called him about it. So it was kind of a shocking experience to hear it from my dad first, but that's pretty much it.
Anything else about, was there, we've been asking people this entire time, was there something you heard? Was there something, any noise, any screams? Was it just people running? Were people ducking?
Screams for sure. Everybody was just in a panic mode for sure. I didn't hear any shots myself. I've been in group chats all day, seeing people saying there were shots, people shot at, but hopefully that's not true. I saw what I saw. People were just running out of the library, and it was, I guess it was pretty shocking. So
how close was your class to the library that you said you had just left?
So it's the plant science building, just like maybe like 0.2 miles away, and I had just gotten out of class, like kind of middle of it, and I'm kind of seeing everything happen like right when it started. I guess I was kind of just putting it in perspective, but.
And again, if you don't mind, let's take a couple steps off camera. Darren, and for those at home, just look at the police presence here. We're right here on Garland and Maple, right in front of the University of Arkansas. Fayetteville Fire Department, Washington County Sheriff's Department, Arkansas State Police, unmarked vehicles, you just see all the lights and sirens that are here. Students, faculty, staff, parents. I would just talk to someone, they were on their tour of the campus today when this happened. They said they weren't near the area, but they said this is the first time that they've been on this campus. They were on a tour. So a very kind of active situation right here, and again, working to confirm any information that we get from law enforcement here.
All right, thank you for that, Jacob. Definitely a law enforcement presence that has grown and grown since he's been on scene there. Next, I know we have another interview of someone else we can get on the phone, someone who was evacuated from campus. If we have that.
Yeah, Alec Wright, was evacuated from campus. Alec, if you can hear us, tell us what happened. All right, so we must have lost Alec. We're also trying to get Robin Hearn, who was at the Razorback camp, Razorback Stadium, that is, and was told to lock down, but she has been allowed to move off, at least out of the stadium and into her car, and that was the last that we had heard contact from her. Laura Castleman is still under lockdown, so to speak, inside the student union, along with several other students as well who were told to go there. All right, let's try Alec again. Alec, if you can hear us, tell us what you heard and what you saw.
Yes, sir. So I was on campus. I was leaving class, and I walked into the library about 2 minutes before that text message went out. I walked in. I saw a friend there. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, did you hear all those people yelling? And I'm, no, I just got here. I haven't seen anyone yelling. And maybe 5 seconds later, 4 policemen came barreling down the hallway. They held an angle maybe 30 feet down the hallway from me. It was kind of a central library, first floor. And they looked at both of us, and they were like, get out, get out, get out. Active shooter, active shooter. So me and my buddy took a left, went backwards, and there was a room full of people, and we were like, everyone's got to go. Active shooters, police in the hallway. They were, the police were like fully armed, and it looked like they were holding an angle on the first floor. We left the library, and we saw maybe a couple hundred people just running out of the library in every direction. No one was really knowing where to go. And me and my buddy just went to the parking garage, and I drove off campus with him.
Did you hear anything, gunshots or anything?
So I was probably around the scene for 15 minutes, and I didn't hear any gunshots, just a lot of police yelling. Probably saw 30 police cars and a lot of unmarked vehicles flying towards campus.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you talk to anyone? You said your friend said he heard yelling. Did you talk to anyone who said they saw or heard anything else?
No, so I had probably walked in the library. It was all within a minute of me walking in the library, getting yelled at and then running out. The police had that first floor locked down, and they didn't want anybody to get hurt or anything, so they were being pretty stern with it. But I only got to talk to my friend, and he had just asked me if anyone was yelling or not.
So you're running off campus. You're heading to your car. How fast are you going?
I mean, we were at a good pace, but we had gotten out of the library, I would say, pretty quick. The message that went out, I think we might have been out of the library before I got the text message, and we were out we got to the Union probably 6 minutes, jogging over there, and then just got off campus as fast as I could, safe and sound now. But
all right.
Shocking scenario for sure.
We're glad you're safe. Definitely a very scary situation. I'm sure as soon as you walk in, getting a text like that at the building that you're in, having an alert like that, I'm sure it was very startling for all of you.
Have you talked to your family and let them know you're okay?
Yeah, I've chatted with most people, called some of my friends, made sure everybody's all good, and I don't know anyone that's been negatively affected that wasn't in an emotional way yet. But I'm hoping everybody's good. Going to be praying for those people that were negatively affected.
All right, Alec, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for calling in and giving us at least an insight as to what happened inside the library. We are still waiting to hear from law enforcement agencies who are there, and you saw that live picture there with State Police, Springdale, Rogers, Fayetteville, University of Arkansas Police, FBI, U.S. Marshal. Just about every law enforcement agency is there on campus. Again, that's protocol. Anything like this happens on any campus, you're going to get law enforcement from about every agency that is around this area to converge on whatever campus, high school, or college, just to be a part of helping out with this investigation. And go ahead if you do. Okay, finally got something from Fayetteville.
Yeah, so this is from Fayetteville schools. We told you earlier Farmington Schools was sheltering in place. We now know all Fayetteville schools are in secure status. That means that nobody can come and go from any of the campuses. It looks like we have an email here from the school district that's saying that because the University of Arkansas is dealing with an emergency situation, they say they don't know the details, but they are not letting anyone in or out of any Fayetteville school buildings right now.
But it does though say that the school day will continue. So if you have students there at any Fayetteville school, they are safe on campus. They are being, no one's being told to leave or can leave, and you cannot go on campus until the all clear is given. Claire Everbach is again back on campus. Let's go back out to her and find out what she has right now. Claire.
Yes, we are still on Maple. Mullen Library is behind us. Right now, I'm joined by Connor, who's a freshman here at the University of Arkansas. Where were you when you found out that this happened?
I was in my class. I was probably about a 2-minute walk from the library, and our teacher was just going through some problems when we got a call to the class saying that there was an active shooter on Mullen's Library, and the class just kind of erupted into murmurs. And we didn't know whether this was a drill, if it was going on, and someone just asked the teacher what was happening, and he just kind of barricaded the door. We all sat in there until we got the go-ahead that was okay to go, and we had to go out the back exit and avoid the library area.
Can you tell me what was going through your mind when you heard about this news?
I was just worried, like the first thought was, like, how am I going to tell my mom what happened, and I just didn't know what to do. I was wondering if all my friends were safe, everything. I was worried about my family and friends in general.
Have you been able to get in contact with your loved one since then?
I have. I've been talking with her, and she knows the whole situation of what's going on right now. She knows that right now I'm safe and all my friends are safe.
So you're a freshman, so you just arrived to the University of Arkansas. So after this happening, what does this make you think about safety on this campus? How do you feel?
I mean, I think just stuff happens in general everywhere. I've seen stuff happen like this on other campuses, but it's definitely a shocker. But I don't really know if this will affect my view of the campus in general. I've been up here a couple times, and this is the first time I've ever seen something this drastic happen. So it's not affecting my thoughts too much, but it has me worried a little bit.
Thank you so much, Connor. We appreciate it. We don't have really much of an update for you right now. There was a text sent out to students from the university that did say there are multiple reports of an active shooter on campus. We'll keep you updated. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, we were just getting that same thing that was sent out about 10 minutes ago, that they were responding to multiple reports around campus. We'll see how that shakes out as well.
And we've been trying to get Robin Hearn on the phone. I think we have her now. She was on campus covering Razorback practice. She said she was on lockdown inside Razorback Stadium. She's since been allowed to leave and go back to her car. Robin, if you can hear us, just tell us what happened from your perspective when this all started happening.
Yeah, guys, like you said, I am in my car and I am safe. I'm still in front of the stadium right now seeing what's going on. We were just done with Pittman's weekly presser that he does during the season, and we got reports from some of the other reporters that there were, I think they have this kit, 1 second. There were reports of an active shooter on campus, and they currently were just patting down what looked like to be a student. We have some cop cars that are cutting off Stadium Drive right now, but other than that, all I've been seeing is cop cars just driving past. Not much has been said as of yet but all I know is that right here at Stadium Drive and Maple is being cut off right now by some cop cars, and that's all I can see at the moment. But they're having multiple cars driving past, going toward where the library is.
And that you sent us that picture, Robin. You're saying it maybe looked like they were trying to get someone out of a car there?
Yes, they had a white car here that they had all the doors open, but right now he has been let go. I see the car driving off right now, so they are letting, and all the cop cars are starting to leave from Stadium Drive, so that is all clear. We are clear here at the stadium. Don't know about anything closer toward the library yet, but Stadium Drive and Maple is getting cleared up right now.
All right, so you were inside Razorback Stadium, inside the media room there. Were you told you were told to stay in there for a certain amount of time?
Yes, yeah, they made sure that none of us were leaving, and they did allow some students who were walking past when the alert came out to go inside the lobby. And once, if a car came up, whether it was a friend, a boyfriend, or a parent, they did allow those students to leave. But for the most part, the athletic department was making sure that we were safe. I know a lot of the other writers and reporters are also still at the stadium at this time, but they weren't letting us leave until they knew that everything was getting cleared up.
Okay, and you're in the parking lot now. Are you able to leave the parking lot at all?
Yes, I can leave, yes.
Okay.
But I'm currently still in my car just waiting to see what else you guys need from me today.
Okay, all right. Robin, thank you so much. She did send us a picture of a student in some handcuffs. We're not going to show that. Apparently that's the one that was let go, or at least able to drive off.
Someone sent us that picture.
Oh, was that one? Okay. All right. Yeah, Laura Castleman is inside still the student union there. Lauren Spencer, sorry. Lauren Spencer is on campus now. Lauren, where are you, and what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're here at the intersection of Maple and Garland. This is really where the heart of law enforcement is congregating right now. We have multiple agencies here. This is the spot where everyone's meeting, trying to figure out what's happening here. I'm speaking with two freshmen here. Tell me your names.
Finley. Connor.
And they kind of saw this whole thing go down. When did you guys realize that something was wrong?
So I was walking towards the Union, and I passed by a guy, and he was like, "Don't go that way, there's a shooter, there's an active shooter." And I was like, "What?" And I thought he was joking. I keep going, and I passed the fence, and there was like 4 cop cars outside the library, tons of people running out, flooding out. I was just like, whoa, this is real. This is very real.
Yeah, what about you, Connor?
I was in class. I got a call from them and like a voicemail that said that there was an active shooter. I didn't know if it was false or not. And we're like talking to the prep, we're like, hey, there's an active shooter report. He's like, well, let's just barricade here if y'all can leave or whatever. I'm like,
we're gonna have to wrap up here. We're gonna get an update from officials right now. We're gonna send it back to you guys, Darren and Morgan in the studio. We're gonna hear from police right now. They say they do have an update for us, so just give us a few minutes. We're gonna get new answers.
Okay, thank you so much, Lauren. We'll go back to her in just a minute, or wherever we can get that update.
Okay.
Now we have Bo Russell, as we mentioned earlier. He's out.
Okay, we're about to start a news conference, or at least get an update from law enforcement who are there on campus. They were forming right there next to where Lauren is actually there on campus, and we're just waiting word to when that will start. And Fayetteville Police Department, I believe, will be the agency that will give the update. And Lauren is right there, and so as soon as we hear from Lauren when that will start, we will actually get that out to get you out.
Okay, it looks like that's about to start right now. Thank you for being patient with us as we're waiting to see exactly when we're going to get this update. But it looks like it's about to start.
We're good.
Okay.
Lauren's there right now.
I think
Give it
she's
to
ready.
like 150 if y'all need me to.
Well, I think what they're
I really don't have much. So
what they're trying to do is to coordinate all of us to do this all at one time, so they can give out as much information as they can. Although you just heard her, there's not much to say. What I'm hoping is that they'll give a status as to where on what the situation there is on campus, if there is a shooter that is still on campus, and details like that. So we're going to wait for her to start here in just a second to give us an update as to what's happening. But just joining us, it's been about an hour.
Natalie Eucce, Natalie, last name Eucce. I'm a corporal with the Fayetteville Police Department in the Community Policing Division. Does anyone want to tell me where to look through this whole thing? Is that good with y'all? Yep. All right, I'm going to look this way. All right, around 12:30 this afternoon, we received a call of an active shooter at David Mullins Library at the University of Arkansas campus. Since then, we've responded to multiple different calls at multiple different locations surrounding the university. There are no confirmed gunshots. There are no confirmed injuries. We have nothing confirmed at this time.
Any arrests?
No arrests.
Can you tell us why some students are being asked to stay in the buildings they're in, some students are asked to stay outside or staying outside?
Yeah, absolutely. So it obviously is a developing situation. When we have something like this, at first it came in at one specific location, right? So we need to keep a safe distance from that location, and just having students move about might be unsafe. So we set up a perimeter that can be keeping students inside, that can be evacuating. As this has developed, more calls were coming in at different locations, so that obviously changed. Y'all saw that as the media, you were pushed back, put in different locations. It's a developing situation.
We received tips about a person, vehicle of interest, anything at this point.
We've had multiple different calls, nothing confirmed. If somebody has been detained, pulled over, anything like that, no arrests have been made, but we are going to follow up with every single tip that we get because obviously safety is our priority.
Are there more than one scene? I mean, is there 2 crime scenes or just one crime?
Right now there are no crime scenes, so nothing has been confirmed. We have no confirmed gunshots, no confirmed injuries. There are no crime scenes. We've received multiple different calls, I believe 4 or more, on and surrounding the university. So one was a vehicle. We detained suspects or subjects, but that was unfounded.
We're receiving a tip about an arrest at the football stadium. Still no arrests?
No arrests have been made.
Is it safe to say that Fayetteville PD is taking the lead on this right now, or with all the agencies?
No, University of Arkansas, it is their jurisdiction. As you can imagine, they have a lot less manpower than us, which is why I'm out here speaking, but this is a University of Arkansas. We are assisting.
Can you tell us about the police presence out here? We're seeing a lot of different agencies. Tell us about who is out here responding to this.
Everyone. So if there's ever a call on shots fired, we are in a very populated city. We're going to have everyone here, as we do. Fayetteville Police, University of Arkansas Police, Washington County Sheriff's Office, Arkansas State Police. You're going to have FBI, HSI, multiple different agencies. Again, nothing has been confirmed. Multiple different calls, multiple locations, nothing confirmed.
We just saw a video of an arrest, or not an arrest, but maybe someone being detained over on Stadium. Are you guys detaining people that...
So let me be very clear. If you're put into handcuffs, you are detained. That does not by any means, that does not mean you're being arrested, right? So if we get a call that there's a suspicious vehicle, that they're involved in something, you may be detained and released. I believe that's what happened.
Could someone face consequences if there was no evidence of a shooting here?
That really depends. Swatting calls happen a lot, and filing false report is a crime. So,
are you guys working to clear every building?
Yes, absolutely. So anything, anywhere where reports were made, we will evacuate and clear everything, and we will follow every lead.
Aside from the library, where were the other locations those calls were coming from?
You'll have to look at our call list. It's public record. Yeah, I don't have that right now. You guys have anything else? I'll come in if I have any other updates, okay?
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, so the Fayetteville Police giving us an update as to the situation there. The first call came in at 12:30 this afternoon, or this afternoon. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes or so ago. The first thing she said, no confirmed gunshots, no confirmed injuries. Multiple calls had come in on different parts of the campus about there being an active shooter on campus in several different locations. They have gone to those locations and still cannot confirm if any shots have been fired. UAPD is the lead investigator on this. They are clearing every building as to where these reported reported active shooter calls came in, and they cannot confirm that there has been any shots fired or if there is even an active shooter involved.
Well, Bo Russell, as we were mentioning earlier, he's at Washington Regional. Again, no injuries have been confirmed, but Bo said that there's been some activity there, which we know some of that is standard protocol in these situations. So we're going to go ahead and go out to Bo right now with what he can tell us there.
Morgan, yeah, hi Darren. We're here in front of Washington Regional, and like you said, there's been some activity, but I spoke with a spokesperson for the hospital who told me they know as much as we do, right? They're really not getting much information right now either. So I can see right here in front of the ambulance bay, there are a lot of medical personnel and staff kind of standing around waiting. I think they're on edge too, waiting to hear something. But in terms of activity, you know, we've heard ambulances, but we've been here about 20-30 minutes. No ambulances have pulled up. So as of right now, I think they're just as much in the dark as we are. But as soon as we have an update from the hospital, I'll be sure to share it with you guys.
Thank you, Bo, for that. Looks like we're getting another update. It's from Fayetteville
Public Schools. Law enforcement requesting that the following schools remain in secure status until further notice. AALPS, Asbell Elementary, Fayetteville High School, Leverett, Ramey, Washington, and Woodland schools. All other schools will return to normal status at 1:45. So about every other school within the Fayetteville school system besides AALPS, Asbell, Fayetteville High School, Leverett, Ramey, Washington, and Woodland have been allowed to go back to regular status on the Fayetteville campus. That was about 8 minutes ago. They were allowed to go back to regular status.
And again, that update that we just got from Fayetteville Police couldn't confirm much. They said no confirmed gunshots, no confirmed injuries. There have been no arrests. They did say that there have been some photos circulating of them detaining some people, but they said that detaining someone does not mean that they were arrested. If they see a suspicious vehicle, they get a report about something, they're going to investigate it. And so that's what people have been seeing pictures of, but they did want to emphasize they did not take those people into custody. They let them go. They've not been arrested.
As part of what she talked about a moment ago, there have been at least 2 other that we know of reports of active shooters, an active shooter on campus, besides the one that was reported at Mullen Library. Fayetteville Police, all police have gone to each of those locations and cannot confirm any kind of active shooter involved. There have been no confirmed gunshots and no confirmed injuries in those other 2 locations. So we know of at least 3 different locations on campus, including Mullen Library, where there was an active shooter that was reported. Police gave the update a moment ago saying that they cannot confirm any shots fired, and of course no confirmed injuries just yet. And with the detained part of this, they may have detained a few people, but they have since been let go after being obviously determined that they were not part of any of this situation. Brought up an interesting point Lauren did when she asked her about the consequences of doing things like this, that yes, there's been a lot of swatting calls, and we talked about this a little bit ago on some other campuses where this was a hoax, and we're certainly hoping that's what this situation is, although the consequences for doing this can be very strict.
Yes, of course. And so Lauren, we're going to go back out to her. We were talking to her right before that update from Fayetteville Police, and we'll go back out to Lauren right now.
Yeah, we're still at the corner of Garland and Maple, the intersection here. This is where all the law enforcement are congregating. We're seeing state troopers, we're seeing Springdale Police, Rogers Police, Fayetteville Police, obviously, UAPD. This is everywhere everyone's kind of meeting up. Every officer we've seen, almost every officer we've seen walk by is armed, that is going into the scene. We did just talk with Fayetteville Police a second ago. They said that they don't have, they were called in for the report at Mullins Library, but they don't. That's the only place they know of so far right now that we know of as well.
Lauren, look, just real quick, I know you're an alumni. You went to school there, graduating just recent, the last couple of years. What are your thoughts about this happening, or at least a situation like this happening on campus?
Yeah, Darren, this is really sad to see as someone that graduated only 2 years ago from this campus that I love so much, that is putting everyone in disarray of what's happening. I have people texting me from all walks of life, people that I knew going to school here, saying, hey, hope you're safe, hope that you know something that I don't know, hopefully you know what's happening, and I can't really give them much information. We don't have a ton of information right now, but it's sad to see. It's sad being back here for a situation like this.
Lauren, do you remember a time when you were a student there? We know they send out these alerts anytime there's an emergency situation. Do you remember a time like this when you were a student when something like this happened?
Definitely not, no. The 4 years I was a student, we received alerts for weather, we received alerts for maybe some illnesses. I know there was a measles outbreak whenever I was here at school, but we never received an alert like this. So to be a student sitting in class, getting an alert on your phone like this, it has to be a feeling that I can't even imagine.
All right, thank you, Lauren. And Darren, again, as we were talking about earlier, even if, like you were saying, there's been a lot of these situations where it turns out that it was a hoax, and like you said, we hope that this isn't really happening, but as Lauren asked during that press conference, are there going to be consequences because you put all these people through such a traumatic situation, just the not knowing, the chaos, just the fear of a situation like this? Are people going to be held accountable if that was the case?
Yeah, and if obviously if the investigation will lead to whomever made these calls to police to alert them of an active shooter on campus, and you heard Lauren, talk about how sad this is for this to happen on campus, and you just mentioned that the chaos that this actually causes for not only the students there on campus, but you have faculty, you've got staff, and just as important, you have the family who send their kids to this campus who may not live in this area, are now wondering what in the world is going on. Where is my student? Are they okay? Where is my child? Are they going to be okay? Are they okay now? What is their mental status because of a situation that you see on TV almost weekly when situations like this happen, and now if this turns out to be a hoax, that makes it almost as bad. And that's the sad part about this is you've got all this law enforcement out here. You've got staff, faculty, parents, all in an uproar now, all in panic mode, wondering what in the world is going on. And with police coming out and telling us no confirmed gunshots, no confirmed injuries, that's the good news with this. The bad news now is how is this going to play out mentally for all these folks who are on campus?
Yeah, and we have tens of thousands of students at the U of A, and also faculty, staff, but then also it's affecting Fayetteville Public Schools, the parents of those kids.
That were on lockdown.
Hearing that your child's school is on lockdown because of a situation like this, there's so many people in the Fayetteville community that now are on high alert and just very afraid in this situation.
And just to repeat about the Fayetteville Public Schools, what we told you about Farmington schools under lockdown now, no one in or out. But they will continue class as normal. We can tell you that every school in the Fayetteville Public School District except AALPS, Asbel, Fayetteville High, Leverett, Ramey, Washington, and Woodland schools they're no longer under lockdown. They have been allowed to resume normal status. Now, those other schools that I mentioned are still under lockdown. Their day will continue, but nobody will be able to get on or off campus until they have been given the go-ahead or the message that that everything is safe, and then they can let people on and off those elementary campuses and middle school campuses there in Fayetteville.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Just today, within the last few hours, we're hearing in Iowa and other states there have been hoaxes, reports of an active shooter on campuses that were false. So again, happening all the time. So obviously the police have to take every time there's a report like that, this is the response that you're going to see because they have to take it so seriously. But it is interesting that we've had multiple reports from other states of hoaxes about an active shooter on college campuses.
That's just today.
Yes.
Last week there were 2 or 3 that we reported on from, I believe, up in the north and the northeast, where there was active shooters on campus, and it turned out to be a hoax as well. Police train for this. Not only do the UA Fayetteville PD police train for this, but they get everybody else law enforcement wise all connected together, and they practice this. They train for this because when something like this does happen, you can see how much police presence there are, and how quickly those police officers and different law enforcement agencies got there, how quickly they got there, how quickly they set up perimeters, how quickly they got students secured, at least in a lockdown mode.
All right, folks, Vanessa Rufus here in the Live Impact News studio, taking over for Nick Sturdivant and pivoting away here from this continuous coverage of what was reported as an active shooter situation at University of Arkansas. As you heard the very latest there, no evidence that there is a shooter. We know that there is potential of a lot of hoaxes that we're seeing lately, so we're not sure if it falls into that vein or if this is a real situation. But as we get more information out of Arkansas, we'll certainly bring that to you here on Live Impact News. Meantime, we're coming back here closer to home for some local coverage here, as if you can believe it, we still have a few more days left of Clear the Shelters. I know we had a lot of big adoption events happening over the weekend on Saturday, but the campaign is still underway, an effort to make sure that our shelters and local rescues are getting support and pets in need of forever homes are getting adopted. So we want to join right now with Cleveland County Animal Services and Tyler Moore, who's joining us right now from the Shelby area to talk about all of the dogs that you have remaining. It sounds like you had some adoptions on Saturday, which is great to hear. And we're going to talk about some of these personalities of these wonderful pups that do remain and are looking for forever homes. So Tyler, thanks so much for joining us.
I can hear you now.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, Tyler, thank you so much for your time. Let's go ahead and talk about, how did your Clear the Shelters adoption day go over the weekend?
Yeah, we just had our Clear the Shelters event this weekend. We had it on Thursday and Friday. I can't hear.
Oh, we're having some audio issues, are we? Okay, so bear with us, folks. It looks like we might be having some audio issues. It sounds like we can hear Tyler, but Tyler might not be able to hear me. So we're going to work on fixing that. If we can get back to that, we certainly will. Jeb, in the meantime, do you want to head back to Arkansas? It looks like they might have some interviews underway while we work on the audio issue here back here. Yeah. Okay, let's do that, folks.
When everyone got down, lower, and super quiet, everyone was very shaken up. It was just a whole insane thing. You would never have to think someone has to actually witness and go through that.
Right. Yeah. We were talking before. You guys are freshmen. You guys are sophomores. This is the second week of school. How does this make you feel weary for being on campus? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, going even to class tomorrow sounds really risky or scary, or just being out in the open. It definitely makes me nervous of walking on campus alone and just in general to class, because you just never know what could happen.
Yeah. Well, what does the rest of the day look like for you guys? Just gonna
cancel. Thank classes.
Yeah.
Check up on all my friends,
make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for speaking with us. We're going to continue to be down here and monitor any updates that we have come through. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Lauren. We're hearing that there might be another update soon. That's coming from Robin, who's still there on campus as well. And I know if we have Bo ready, he's at Washington Regional. Do we have him? Yeah. Okay. So Bo, we were talking to Lauren about this earlier. You're also an alum of the University of Arkansas. What are you thinking from your perspective, just from being a student, knowing kind of the training that goes into being prepared for a situation like this? What are you thinking right now?
Morgan, yeah, I mean, when you're on campus there as a student, the University of Arkansas, and I'm sure this is the same at a lot of college campuses around the country, it's a very tight-knit community, especially in Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas. You really feel at home there. And so this isn't something that crosses your mind much as a student. You know, as a journalist, I follow these stories, you hear about it. But, and I'm sure it's the same with everyone, you never think it's going to happen at home, right? So I was just going about my day as most people, you know, when I got this notification, and it really felt like a sucker punch to the gut, you know? It's just like, oh, no, you know, you just, it's not something you ever want to hear, especially at home, and especially at the University of Arkansas. It really is a place that feels safe for so many people, kind of like a home ground, you know? And so it was just awful to hear that. You know, we're getting reports that so far no reported gunshots, no reported injuries. I'm here at the hospital. We've been here about 40 minutes. No ambulances have come through yet. There was a group of nurses kind of grouped around the ambulance bay. They've gone back inside. So I haven't heard anything from the hospital as of yet, but so far pretty calm here.
Yeah, sounds like they were on standby, which, as Darren was mentioning, seems like it's a standard thing when there's reports like this.
Yeah, you know, I think that's right. I think I spoke to a spokesperson for Washington County Hospital, and she told me that they knew just as much as we did. And so, you know, she was heading to the hospital. I think everyone was getting ready for something. So far, nothing has happened here, and so hopefully that's good news.
All right, Bo, thank you.
All right, Laura Castleman is been inside the student union there for the last, hour or so after being on campus, one of the first ones to be on campus after this happened, and was told to go up in the student union for safety there. Laura, what can you tell us? What's the? Oh, now she's back outside. All right, so Laura's back outside. When did you when were you allowed to come back?
Yes, so recently they told us that we are still technically in a lockdown, but they cannot keep us there legally. A couple students did leave, but the majority of students did stay in that area. So upon my arrival, it looked like I was almost the first on scene. Police and state trooper and Fayetteville police were on the scene. And then the staff came out and they said that they were putting the safety of anyone on campus first, and they pushed us all into the union, into a room, and they kind of had us just sitting there for a little while. The tension, there was a little bit of tension. Everyone was a little bit scared, but students were shaken. They were kind of consoling each other, obviously on the phones, talking with loved ones to make sure everyone was okay. But again, we have no confirmed shots or no confirmed injuries. Myself, I was scared for just a little while. Of course, being an alumni here, you would never think that something like this would happen, but you never really know. Back to you.
Thanks. All right, thank you so much for that, Laura. We have a lot of alumni on campus today, hearing from them. And of course, another thing is this happened at lunchtime near the student union, which is where a lot of people were eating lunch at a crowded time of day. Definitely just a lot of people being told different things, what to do.
All right, so the very latest there out of the University of Arkansas, where there were reports of an active shooter, but the very latest from police, the fact that it seems like they say there is not any evidence of that actually happening. The potential that this could be a hoax, but you saw and you heard from the most recent reporting there on scene that the lockdown has fully not lifted. So they're just going through and clearing buildings. As we get more information, we'll let you know what we find out of Arkansas. We're going to try again here with our interview with Cleveland County Animal Services. I apologize, we're having some audio issues, but Tyler Moore is joining us right now once again to talk about Clear the Shelters, which is entering now pretty much its final week here, but it does continue through August and into a little bit of September, we actually see officially. So Tyler, if you can hear us now, let us know how your recent Clear the Shelters adoption day went. It sounds like you had an adoption day on Thursday and Friday, right?
Yeah, we did an adoption day. The Clear the Shelter is a month-long adoption event. We had food vendors and other vendors set up outside the shelter for guests to come in. And we did a number of adoptions on Thursday and Friday. And we've done a number of adoptions throughout the month for cats and dogs.
Yeah, I mean, that's so great to hear. And y'all have sent me some photos and bios of dogs who do remain at the shelter as we speak. And it sounds like they all have some really great notes. And you should be able to see these graphics because we prepared some that we can show folks here on Live Impact News to talk about some of the dogs who are still looking for forever homes. First up, it looks like we have Do you want to go Spike first? Okay, let's do Spike. So Spike looks like a real cutie and perhaps a young pup as well. Tell us a bit about Spike.
So yeah, he's a young dog, probably under 6 months old. Loves other dogs. Probably would do well in a home with other dogs. He's a bundle full of energy. Loves to play. Loves getting out in the play yard with other dogs, and he would make a great addition to a new home.
That's so wonderful. And we've got Spot as well, who sounds like Spot is a big love bug. So we've got Spot's photo here. Tell us a bit about Spot and his story and what kind of household might he work best in?
Yeah, so I'm a field services officer. So I actually picked Spot up a few months ago in the city limits of Shelby. He was hiding under somebody's deck. He didn't feel good at the time, but he's really come out of his shell. He's gotten healthy. He loves other dogs as well. He's probably a shelter favorite of our staff. He loves going outside in the play yard, going on walks in our backyard as well.
Yeah. And Spot, by the way, is 4 years old for folks who are trying to get a good gauge of, energy wise, where he might fit on that puppy to senior scale. We've also got Lacey here, who she sounds like she is a full on puppy, and she might show it to you too.
Lacey is another puppy. We have a number of young dogs in the shelter that get along with each other. When we get them in the play yard together, it's a lot of bundle of fun out there, a lot of roughhousing. And like I said, she would do well in a home with another dog just to keep up with her energy.
Yeah, she's 7 months old, by the way, folks. Up next, we have Charlie. Charlie is 5 months old, so another puppy. Oh, I love those ears, too. What a cutie.
Yeah, well, like I said, we have a number of young dogs from different areas. It's the number one adopted animal from us is younger dogs, but they would all make good additions to new homes. Like I said, our adoption fees this month are waived because of Clear the Shelter fee. And like I said, come adopt Charlie, he'd make a great home.
Now, up next, we have a sweet lady. This is Lacey. There we go. This is interesting. Sounds like she does love to play, but she also loves to lounge as well.
Yes, so we a lot of our time shelter, once they get out their daily routines, they'll get them out and they'll sit on the laps of all the shelter staff while they're out in the yards. She'll take a nap on you if she gets done playing, gets tired out, and like I said, she make a great couch potato with you once you get all the energy out of her.
Oh, I love to hear that. All right, so let's go ahead and cue up July now. July is a 1-year-old female. She's listed as a boxer mix. Looks like she might be a good trail companion or maybe someone to take out, out on an adventure with you.
Yeah, July's been with us for a little bit of time now. She's really laid back, mellow, easy going, good on leash. She's been good with the other dogs as well. She would be good in a home, probably more relaxed home with like a senior family or adults as well.
Yeah, I mean, y'all have some really great pups. Sounds like you had some adoptions from Clear the Shelters, but I can imagine if your shelter is just like all of the others in our area and even nationwide from what we're hearing, y'all are probably on the full side. I mean, how are things looking right now as far as capacity, and what is the need to get these dogs into forever homes right now?
It's always a need with an animal shelter, especially of our capacity in a rural area. We're always looking for adopters and fosters and volunteers to come in to assist getting the dogs out into new homes, even just like I said, for a foster to take for a few days or a week so we know how they are in a new home.
Yeah, I mean, I know that some of the shelters here closer to Charlotte, they'll have, staycation or daycation programs. It sounds like that's an option for folks as well. What's the name of those programs, if you don't mind sharing, so folks have an idea of what they could ask for if they want to come and maybe just take a dog out for either a day or a couple of days?
Yeah, if you want to come by the shelter, we have a volunteer and foster coordinator that can get you involved with those type of programs. Taking a dog out, fostering it for a couple of days, walking them behind the shelter on one of our trails, or getting them out in the play yard. Anything we can do to get the dog a home, find out more information to set up a good home and a match for the dog.
Yeah. And we did want to tell folks, too, you know, even though the big adoption days have passed here, the campaign does continue, as we alluded to, throughout the rest of the month. And we even know come tomorrow that through Clear the Shelters, there's a match program for donations that are made to local shelters tomorrow specifically. And so, I mean, I can imagine even donations can help y'all. Do you have any specific funds that you try to fill for people who want to give monetarily, or even just maybe drop off dog food? Do you take those sorts of donations there in Cleveland County?
Yeah, we take low cost. We take dog food for low cost spay and neuter people in need. We'll take donations to add to maybe helping somebody getting their dog spay or neuter, or medical help if it's needed.
Now, I mean, my understanding, you said you're a field officer. I mean, that can be some tough work. I'm sure you see, you know, pets come in varying degrees of health and concern, and I mean that is tough. I feel like that can weigh on someone, but you must have a clear passion if this is something that you've chosen to do. I mean, can you talk about why this is such an important cause to make sure that animals are so well taken care of and have that chance to go into a forever home that might end up like loving them forever and just treating them like the family member that they deserve to be?
Yes, so I've been in animal services in different roles for the last 10 years. You get in it to help the animals, but the biggest need is making an impact on people, because you make the impact on people, you're able to affect the animals. There's a lot of people in need nowadays, and that's the number one thing I see on the road is trying to help people, because if I help people, I'm able to help the pet.
Yeah. Anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap things up here, just about the cause, the work that y'all are doing over there, how the community can help, just anything?
Yeah. So if you want to help the shelter is a reflection of the community, so we all need all the community's help to help the shelter be the best it can be. Come up and volunteer with us. We have cats and dogs. We have at PetSmart events and cats at PetSmart throughout the year. We have a number of different needs in the shelter: donations, volunteers to help walk dogs, help clean in the mornings, those type of things. If you don't think you can make an impact, that's wrong. You can make an impact every day of the week at the shelter, because it's 365 every day.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many options that folks don't always think of, ways that they can help the shelter, even if they can't adopt, you know, volunteering. That does make a difference for those pets. And to your point, for the community overall. Tyler Moore, thank you so much. We appreciate your time joining us from Cleveland County Animal Services. And we'll just remind folks at home as well that we have more information about Clear the Shelters and some of these adoptable pups. We'll get that on WCNC.com and on social media as well. So Tyler, thanks so much, and I hope y'all have some more success throughout the rest of the month. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We've got a live feed that we've been keeping an eye on, folks, here on Live Impact News. Looks like we've got some movement underway still in Arkansas, and also, Jeb, do you still want to go to California? Okay, looks like we've got some folks speaking, a law group as well as Republican legislators. Looks like they're speaking against the push to redistrict in California. Let's listen in on their comments.
They care about Californians' rights. This is an issue that Californians overwhelmingly voted for. We deserve, as Californians, to have the right to choose our legislators, to choose the people who we send to Sacramento to represent us. What we're seeing happening today and what we're seeing happening from this governor is the opposite. They're having backroom deals, making decisions without our knowledge, and then trying to ram those decisions down our throat. We're not here because we're Republicans. We're not here because we're partisan. We're here because we care. Because let's call balls and strikes. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And what's happening in the Capitol right now is wrong. Californians want to see more transparency, not less. We want to preserve the Constitution and preserve our right to choose who represents us. If we don't have that right anymore, then we have no control over our futures. You heard from Assemblymember Tree Taw. He fled a country to come here to the United States, to California, for freedom. And he sees us going down the wrong path, and we all need to heed that. Thank you.
Any questions?
Go ahead. Over here.
Rachel Blue from Politico. Can you walk us through, this 30-day argument? Supreme Court didn't go for it last time. Why do you think they will this time?
In their decision last week, they succinctly wrote that the relief was not available at this time. There's only 2 time periods that we've been able to discern. One is after introduction but before enactment of the law, and the other is after enactment. So if last week they said that relief was not available at that time, before enactment, we are reasserting the argument to see if they will grant the relief at this time.
And sorry, to be clear, relief in the form of not allowing this to go on the ballot, because essentially last week they didn't really have that concrete relief?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That the legislation itself was illegally promulgated.
And if the Supreme Court doesn't decide that this is going to be kept off the ballot, what's plan B? What's the strategy to try to get voters to reject this?
So I can only speak as a lawyer in terms of our litigation that we filed. However, there are, as I understand it, various efforts that have begun operating in the state, committees that have been formed that are starting the campaign to persuade the voters that this is a terrible idea. And I think some people have already gotten it.
Can I answer? I'll answer that question as a non-lawyer. The very fact of the matter is we're going to look every avenue possible through the courts because they have violated the Constitution many times. But I'm very confident if and when it gets to the people in November, our job is to educate the people of California what this really is. What's happening right now is you have the legislature and the governor trying to mislead people, and the attorney general by title and summary, saying in some way they're preserving what we have as a gold standard, the Nonpartisan Citizens Redistricting Commission. I firmly believe Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, once they find out that we're getting rid of what is the gold standard and that we're putting the power into politicians, as reported by many of you, that some of these legislators drew maps for themselves to run for Congress in just a few months. That's exactly why over 60% of the voters voted for the Nonpartisan Citizens Redistricting campaign in the first place. Now, the yes side is going to try to confuse the people of California. I believe if we do our job and get the message out, do you want the power in the politicians or the people? And as a former athlete, I love competition. Do we want competitive elections where we fight for the votes during election time? Or do you want a predetermined election where your vote doesn't matter? I firmly believe that we win that battle and that question in November. But let's be clear, we're going to look every avenue possible to defeat this because they have violated many rules of their own rules and many parts of the Constitution. So it has become upon us to try to hold them accountable, because I do believe my colleagues do think the ends justify the means, which I think is unacceptable. We take an oath to the Constitution to defend that Constitution, both in the United States and this California Constitution. I don't think at any time we should break the Constitution because we want to get somewhere. We have to follow the rules. And once we get that message out, I think we win. So go ahead.
Sorry, I believe this may be a question for Chair Rankin, but President Trump floated today the possibility of a lawsuit coming from the federal level. Have you been in touch with his administration about what that might look like? Do you welcome his involvement in that way? Or, I mean, is there any coordination happening around a potential lawsuit coming from the Trump administration?
Well, that's a question for a lawyer.
No.
Yeah. I've not talked to the president regarding this. Go ahead.
Just if someone wanted, if they wanted to change the state's redistricting process, then what, in your eyes, is the way to do that?
This is what they should have done. And I love that question, because what they should have done is go to the people of California and get the authority. Go to the people of California and get the authority to draw the maps. And if they got the affirmative to draw the maps, then they draw the maps. But currently, they didn't have the authority to draw or look at those maps or affect those maps. And so, again, it's a backroom deal. And again, I believe that people want transparency. They want those communities to stay together. They want the cities and counties. There are some districts, I don't know if you've been looking at these maps. There was a district, I believe, that was like in San Diego, Coronado, that went around like 3 districts and touched Palm Springs. There's some people way up north that have to go 200, 300 miles to go down to Marin County. Under our Constitution currently, that's illegal. Though that map is illegal under our Constitution today. And them drawing the maps is against our Constitution. They've gone through everything. And again, these are the Constitution and the rules that they set for themselves. They have a supermajority, and they can't follow their own rules. That's unacceptable. What do they tell their kids when they say, well, it's okay for us to break rules? That's just unacceptable. There's rules that you live by. They should have gone and got the people's authority first and then draw the maps.
I think this is a question for Mike maybe, but I'm hoping you can articulate more
Go
the
ahead, Mike.
legal argument around
Yes.
why this is unconstitutional, given that the voters will be asked to consider a constitutional amendment. Can you parse that for us?
Yeah, this is, I think, piggybacking off of what Tony just said, but so there's a couple of different arguments on the constitutionality. The one is what Tony just said. Currently, as we sit here today, the California Constitution is the law of the state, the highest law of the state. And it says that redistricting power is in the hands of the Independent Redistricting Commission. So this entire process that we are going through right now, where the legislature and others have drawn maps, is already them exercising a power that they don't have. So the legislation itself that was passed last week, in legal parlance, ultra vires. It's a Latin phrase, ultravires. That means that basically they don't have the power to do it. Second aspect of the Constitution that we highlight in our petition is that the Constitution says that redistricting itself is such a tumultuous process. It inflicts so much grief on the state that the Constitution says it can only happen once every 10 years, except perhaps if there's a court order that compels it. But the Constitution is clear. It can only happen once every 10 years after the census. Right? In the past, someone tried to bypass that when the power was in the hands of the legislature in the past, before the citizens wisely took it away from them. There was an effort to bypass that once a decade requirement by putting it on the ballot. So you might have asked the same question, well, why doesn't the voters' choice cure the violation? The court, in that case, decided that the constitutional requirement stands regardless of who does the redistricting. As an independent requirement in the Constitution about redistricting, it is such a burdensome disruption to the state's business that it can only happen once a decade. So that's another way in which the effort to put this on the ballot is unlawful or unconstitutional. Yes?
Chair Rankin, this is Maya Miller from Cal Matters. I wanted to follow up on Alexis' question. Specifically, would the California Republican Party, would you welcome support from President Trump in the form of a lawsuit from the Department of Justice? I know that this is not a settled matter, but what is your take on the president's support or lack thereof?
So I want to be really clear when I say that this is an issue about California, because we're all here today because of the impact that it's going to have on California. I'm not going to get ahead of the president and say what he may or may not do. That's a question for the future. But for today and for every day during my tenure here as the chair of the California Republican Party, I will be solely focused on the state of California.
And if I may follow up on Mr. Colombo's answer, how do you have a bill that's authored by the legislature without one member of the legislature admitting that they had any part to do in that drawing? Think about that. Let that sink in. Because there's not one of the 120 members across the street that admit that they had any hand in drawing those lines. They're all pointing at each other. Because again, they know they violated the Constitution. They know some of them drew a map for themselves. And that's precisely why this passed in the first place, because they don't want the power in the politicians. One last question?
I have a question for Chair Rankin.
Sure.
Just, it looks like the Yes on 50 campaign is going to make this about President Donald Trump. And it's going to essentially try to make this a referendum on him. And I just, from your perspective as party chair, what I guess would be your message to voters, and does, I mean, piggybacking off of my colleagues, I mean, does President Trump's involvement here make the message to voters confusing, given, I mean, if all does not go well with the California Supreme Court?
So the best way that I can just answer your question is just to reiterate that we're all here because of how this is going to impact California voters and how it's going to impact Californians. What they're doing is, not to reiterate, but it's a violation of the California Constitution, and that's why we're here. This is an issue for me. It's a nonpartisan issue. It's an issue that should not be Democrat versus Republican. It should not be Gavin Newsom versus Trump. It should not be California versus Texas. It should be what's in the best interest of Californians. And what's in the best interest of Californians is for us to determine who represents us at the state capitol.
Just want to add one thing. So one of my guilty pleasures is YouTube. And regrettably, in the last 24 hours, when I've attempted to use YouTube, the first ad that pops up is a Yes on Prop 50 ad. And how this relates to, to what we were just talking about is, in the ad, the governor asks for money. And he makes his pitch on the assertion that this is about the rule of law. And I can't imagine a more hypocritical gaslighting solicitation than what he just said on that video. As we lay out in our petition, as you've heard here today, this effort is exactly the opposite. It's not about the president or any other state. It's about the rule of law in California. If politicians can ignore the California Constitution because of their ambition or their desire for more power, that's not the rule of law. And that is exactly why the voters of California have in their Constitution that redistricting is something that must be done by the Redistricting Commission, and it cannot be done for partisan ends. Thank you.
Well, thank you for everybody being here. We can answer questions. We have follow-ups. I'm moving forward.
I have a quick follow-up. So in your mind, it would have been, would you have wanted to see, if Democrats wanted to do this the correct way, the legal way,
yeah,
should they have put a statewide question to the voters, hey, is it okay for us to draw these maps without having drawn the maps first? Waited for the voters to weigh in.
Exactly.
And then they
Go to the people, as in the Constitution, go to the people, because currently right now it's not legal for them to draw those maps or affect those maps. Go get the authority from the people, and when you get the authority, then you have the ability to draw those maps. Now, my guess is they weren't going to do that because the whole goal of their campaign, the whole goal is to confuse everybody. Their whole goal of the campaign is to lie to the people of California. Their whole goal is to say, we're going to keep this nonpartisan commission when they're throwing it out. The whole goal is to confuse it and say it's about someone else back in Washington instead of what they're doing here in California. They need to look in the mirror. They're destroying democracy. They're trying to destroy democracy in California. And again, I'm going to repeat myself. That's not good for anybody. That's not good for Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. If they have those arguments about policies going on in Washington, that's why we have an election. That's why we have, maybe they're scared of having a competitive election in California because they think, they might not think their policies will win seats here in California unless they rig the election. Maybe that's what the problem is. They don't want to have a fair election. I'll remind you, fair elections lead to fair representation. You should have to, I do, as a state senator, you should have to go and earn every vote that you get. And I've never been in an election where it's predetermined where I'm going to win. And by the way, competition breeds success. as an athlete, you have to work hard to fight for every vote. And boy, I'll be sad if we have a time in California where it's all predetermined and people just get to ignore the voices of people in California.
Yeah,
so thank you.
sad.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, folks, you saw there a press briefing from California Republicans alongside a law group. They say that they are filing an emergency petition with the California Supreme Court. They are challenging the redistricting package that has moved through the legislature. More, of course, on this to come, but we see kind of in a larger dialogue this relating to the redistricting pushes we're seeing first off in Texas, now California, other dialogues happening in other states ahead of midterms. We're turning now to some live aerials into our newsroom here. Just within the last few minutes, we've been seeing some really sad news out of Mankato, Minnesota. This is a scene we're seeing involving a fire. Unfortunately, we're hearing 2 children are dead. We also have a woman who was airlifted from the scene with some pretty serious injuries. This was, we're told, a multifamily dwelling, so potentially an apartment complex. And it sounds like there are some folks who are inside this building who were able to get out, but unfortunately, as we mentioned, not everybody was able to. For some perspective and in relation to where this might be in relation to Minneapolis, this is going to be just to the south and to the west, so southwest of Minneapolis. And once again, live aerials of what we're told is the 200 block of Bradley Street for any folks who might be familiar at all with this area. Sounded like there were some flames that were seen from the upstairs apartment. 5 people, first responders were able to determine, were still inside the unit. A man and a child were able to escape. The woman, as we mentioned, had to be airlifted, and then there were 2 children who did not survive, sadly. We're not hearing anything about names quite yet. It sounds like they're trying to make all of the notifications of next of kin. But Director of Public Safety commenting here, of course, a heartbreaking tragedy, but also noting, you know, especially to start the new school year here, and they're still working to determine the cause, it sounds like, and see how they can support anybody who is impacted from this situation. We'll give you updates, and of course, as we get more out of here, once again, sad scene in Mankato, Minnesota, where 2 children are dead. A woman has serious injuries after an early morning apartment fire there. Let's go ahead and turn to weather impacts. I don't know about you. I think it was a pretty nice day overall. Lots of sunshine. Almost felt a little bit crisp, relatively speaking, for the season. But let's check in with what we can expect for the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Here's meteorologist Majestic Storm.
Well, good Monday afternoon to you. I'm WCNC meteorologist Majestic Storm. I hope you had a great weekend, and finally we get sunny skies this week. Not only that, but overall our temperatures, they'll stay pretty comfortable. We were able to send those kiddos off to school today with plenty of sunshine. We had a fantastic bus stop forecast, and now as they're coming home from school, it's a gorgeous day out there. I mean, many of us, doesn't matter where you're watching from, we really get sunny skies and comfortable conditions. Daytime highs today will rise right around those mid-80s. We'll stay dry as well. I mean, we're talking blue skies and a whole lot of sunshine. Not just today, but really even Tuesday through Friday. It will be a little cooler than where we should be for this time of the year, but nonetheless, still comfortable to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. And another thing we'll be watching will be those cooler overnight lows and those cool morning time hours. So I'm not kidding you. We'll see some 50s and 60s heading our way. And hey, if you're making plans for our Labor Day weekend, generally very mild conditions, and we do have some chances for few isolated showers. We'll get to that. Comfortable for our lunchtime forecast. Daytime highs today. Let's take you up to the mountains. Sunny with highs only rising into the 60s and 70s. 67 degrees today in Banner Elk. 83 for our good friends out there in Morganton. A beautiful day there. Much of the same over towards Hickory. As we head around the Charlotte area, 86 will be where we'll top off this afternoon. Over towards Shelby, 86 is your high as well. 87 from Monroe out towards Wadesboro, and 89 for Lancaster. Now our daytime highs, yeah, they're going to be warm. It'll still be a little muggy today, but notice our lows as we're heading into the next 4 mornings. This means as we're heading really through Wednesday and Thursday, I think we're going to feel a little bit of that chill in the air, especially for those kiddos who will be waiting at a bus stop. Might be a good idea to send them with a sweatshirt. I mean, we're talking about the opportunity to see some 50-degree 50-degree temperatures, not low 50s, really those mid to upper 50s. Satellite and radar this afternoon across the Carolinas looking fantastic, and this is how the day will play out. So sending the kids off to school with nice weather by the time they're coming home from school. Still a good afternoon to send them outside to play. Maybe they have an after-school sports activity. It's going to be enjoyable. Low 80s by tomorrow, though. This is going to be a big part of our weather story this week will be how a cold front pulls in drier air. We'll get to that, but you can really see this displayed well in our 10-day forecast. 86 degrees today. Our average high for this time of the year, it's 88. So we're already starting out the week a little bit below, but really you'll notice a little bit of that drop in temperatures by Tuesday and into Wednesday. Low 80-degree temperatures all the way really through Thursday and Friday. That cold front continues to slide out of here, and as it does so, back behind it, it does not uptick our rain or storm chances, but rather it pulls in some of that cooler northerly air, and that's why our daytime highs will struggle to get to where they should be for this time of the year. So basically, it's a dry, cold front. Over the next 10 days, your lawn may need a little water here and there. Don't forget about those flowers or gardens either. Here's the lows over the next 10 days. I mean, 50s and 60s, that's going to feel pretty nice, especially for all you early risers who like to wake up. You like to go out for your morning run or walk. You want to leash up your fur babies. It's going to be quite enjoyable. Again, mostly sunny skies this afternoon, a high of 86 degrees, even comfortable around dinner time or so. Might be a good night to fire up the barbecue, have some dinner outside. 63 tonight, 81 tomorrow. So while it is going to be a little cooler, 80s, I don't think anyone's really complaining about that today or tomorrow. Stay close to the WCNC weather team. We'll keep you up to date with the very latest, and have a fantastic Monday.
Well, there you have it, folks. And of course, all of our weather here today, I'd say overall nice weather coming on the first day of school for so many districts. We had a briefing with leadership over at CMS just a couple of hours ago where they updated us on some parents' concerns regarding safety and also transportation today. So let's go ahead and listen in, and we'll jump back in with anything big and breaking.
Student wellness and morning meeting. Fifth grade students at Barnett Elementary were engaged in strong instruction on day one. Math students were learning about cubic volume, and literacy students were engaged in referencing and inferencing embedded to get to know you. So all of our schools that we visited this morning were ready to go, and students were learning on the very first day of school, as we expect. Earlier this morning, I was also excited to join the student assignment team as they welcome families into the new school year with a smooth registration process. Our partners at Novant Health were also on site providing physicals and immunizations to make sure students were ready for their first day. These stories are a reflection of the care, creativity, and commitment that make our schools special. As we begin this new school year, let's to the joy of learning, the importance of relationships, and the power of possibility. Together we'll make this year one of great success, growth, and celebration for every student. Welcome back, and let's make it a great school year. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Tim Ivey, our Chief Operating Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balknight. And I'm so excited to be here at Sedgefield Montessori, the first completed project of the 2023 bond. As was stated earlier, site improvements include Peace and Memorial Gardens as well as Montessori-specific practical life classrooms and new exterior doors that provide access to garden beds and planters outside each room. We're so thrilled to be able to provide this for students here in CMS. As Dr. Hill mentioned earlier, too, we had a great start to the 25-26 school year with transportation and school nutrition. We saw no major delays, and free breakfast was served to all of our students, or provided for all of our students. Our facilities team also has been out this morning supporting schools with no major facility needs being reported at this time. I want to say thank you to the thousands of members of the operational team who worked diligently behind the scenes to kick off another amazing school year. Also this week, schools will begin training students on our new standard response protocol. I love you guys. This standard response protocol provides clear, consistent actions and language for schools to use in the event of an emergency. We know that this is going to be a great addition to our layered approach to school safety. Now, before I turn it back over to Dr. Hill, I want to once again remind everyone of a few things. Parents should download the Here Comes the Bus app and use Alpha Route via cmsk12.org/buses. Everyone is reminded to please be at their bus stop 10 minutes before scheduled time all this week. And I want to remind everyone that it is illegal and extremely dangerous to pass a stopped school bus with its stop arm extended. Please practice patience this week and caution as we welcome back our 141,000 students and families who navigate to and from school. And lastly, a very important reminder about school safety. As I have stated numerous times, school safety is our top priority. So as we begin the 25-26 school year, I want to be very clear that CMS will not tolerate inappropriate behaviors from students, staff, or community members who put the safety of others at risk. That is not to say that we will not follow due process, but as guardrail number 3 states, without safety and security, our students, staff, and community cannot thrive, and we will not allow behaviors of this nature to disrupt our purpose and the right that all students and staff have to learn and work in a safe environment. School safety is a community effort. It involves everyone. It involves law enforcement, school staff, parents, students, and community members. So if you see something, we urge you to say something. I'll now turn it back over to Dr. Hill for closing remarks.
Thank you, Chief Ivey. And as a reminder, families can visit our Back to School website at www.cmsk12.org/back-to-school for our top 10 things to know and other information related to the new school year. That concludes the information that we wanted to share with you this afternoon, and at this time we will entertain questions. Susan Vernon Devlin will be facilitating the conversation.
Okay. The first hand I saw, Jonathan Lowe.
Perfect. Good afternoon to you all. I probably would be remiss if I didn't say it's been a boring start to the school year for us. And so I guess that echoes what you all have seen. Certainly feels like you all are in a routine. But I did want to ask about Infinite Campus and registrations. Dr. Balknight, I know you said that things ran smoothly, but I heard it from at least one parent who said that they did have some issues registering their student, had to do a paper application. Can you give us an update on, you know, if there were issues with getting kids registered? I know that parent was able to school, like you said last time.
Folks, we're pivoting away from the CMS briefing to another briefing that is underway. It looks like we've got Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's set to make an announcement or speak regarding big development in the Sinaloa cartel saga and one of its co-founders. Let's listen in right now.
Administrator Terry Cole, our HSI Acting Executive Associate Director Derek Gordon, FBI Operations Director, who I'm with every day, Chad Yarborough, U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, Jason Quinones, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Justin Simmons, and Acting Assistant AG Matt Gagliotti, who I'm with almost every day as well. We're here to announce a landmark victory for the Department of Justice, our law enforcement partners, and the United States of America. As you've heard, drug kingpin Ishmael Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo, has confessed to a lifetime of crime in service to the Sinaloa cartel, a foreign terrorist organization. Thanks to the relentless work of our prosecutors and our federal agents, El Mayo will spend the rest of his life behind bars. He will die in a U.S. federal prison where he belongs. His guilty plea brings us one step closer to achieving our goal of elimination of the drug cartels and the transnational criminal organizations throughout this world that are flooding our country with drugs, human traffickers, and homicides. Under President Trump's leadership, the Department of Justice is on the front lines of this fight. We're standing shoulder to shoulder with all of our law enforcement partners to dismantle these narco-terrorists. And that's exactly what they are. They are narco-terrorists. El Mayo was one of the most prolific and powerful drug traffickers in this world. His partner was El Chapo. They were co-founders of the Sinaloa cartel. They brutally murdered multiple people and flooded our country with drugs. Their reign of terror is over. He will never walk free again. Over the last 3 decades, El Mayo and his accomplices made billions of dollars, hundreds of millions each year they were making by bringing poisonous drugs into our country. No longer. The Sinaloa cartel initially built their businesses with cocaine, but then under El Mayo's leadership, they turned to heroin, they turned to fentanyl. They purchased fentanyl precursor chemicals from China. They made the drug in Mexico and flooded it into our communities, killing our kids. El Mayo also ensured that the Sinaloa cartel operated and protected its drug trafficking business by relying on extreme violence. They used military-grade weapons and directed hitmen to kill their adversaries. They committed gruesome assassinations, kidnappings, and horrible crimes to maintain discipline within their own organization. He ordered the murders of countless individuals and rivals. Many innocent people died as a result of this as well. El Mayo operated with impunity at the highest levels of the Mexican drug trafficking world by paying bribes to government officials, by bribing law enforcement officers. He controlled corrupt officials and officers who protected his workers and his drug shipments that traveled from Mexico into our country. El Mayo's crimes have been so prolific that in the past 2 decades, he's been indicted in no fewer than 16 federal courts across our country. 16. From Western District of Texas to Chicago to here in the Eastern District of New York. He escaped justice for decades, but under President Trump's leadership, he has finally been brought to justice. Today's conviction is the latest success in the United States fight against deadly cartels and transnational criminal organizations. We've made remarkable progress. Just to give you a few examples, under President Trump's direction, the United States State Department designated the Sinaloa cartel, together with 5 other cartels and MS-13 and TDA, as foreign terrorist organizations due to the serious threat that they pose to our national security. As a result, the DOJ has already charged leaders of the Sinaloa cartel with narco-terrorism and charged alleged members with support and supporters of TDA, MS-13, and CJNG, currently one of the most violent cartels in Mexico. They provided material support to a terrorist organization. We are calling these drug kingpins what they are: international narco-terrorists that invade our country, threaten the sovereignty of our borders, and destroy our communities. They are terrorists, and we will prosecute them like they are terrorists. Since President Trump took office, Mexican authorities have expelled more than 50 high-ranking cartel leaders and other dangerous criminals to our country to face prosecution. More than 50. These are historic numbers that ensure that these criminals will face justice and face justice on American soil. We now have leaders from CJNG, Sinaloa, and Los Zetas in custody. Our prosecutors in the Criminal Division and the Northern District of Illinois obtained a guilty plea from Ovidio Guzman Lopez, the son of El Chapo, and another leader of the Sinaloa cartel, the co-founder. Just a few weeks ago, on August 14th, we announced criminal charges against 5 cartel leaders and high-ranking members of these united cartels. We will not rest until Americans are safe from these narco-terrorists. Thanks to our law enforcement officers, both here and in Mexico, who often put their lives on the line every single day to protect us and to get these violent leaders off the streets. We are not done yet. At President Trump's direction, we will continue to fight until every single cartel boss is behind bars and on American soil and in American prisons for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. As you've heard a short time ago, Ismael Zambada Garcia, known as El Mayo, pled guilty here in the Eastern District of New York to being the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, the largest drug trafficking organization in the world. Among other things, he admitted to leading a continuing criminal enterprise and to RICO conspiracy charges. This is an historic day. With today's plea, the Sinaloa cartel has been decapitated. Its 2 founders and leaders, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, also known as El Chapo, and now El Mayo, both stand convicted. These defendants built a criminal empire in Sinaloa, Mexico. Their cartel grew like it was a cancer throughout the hemisphere. They flooded the United States with deadly drugs, including cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and then fentanyl. El Mayo was first indicted in the Eastern District of New York in 2009, and we continued to add charges, including, as the Attorney General mentioned, fentanyl trafficking, right up until this very year. As a result of his conviction, El Mayo faces a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. This conviction is also a testament to the unrelenting determination of the prosecutors and the law enforcement agents who never stop seeking to bring El Mayo to justice. As our Attorney General has pointed out, the plea marks the conclusion of a decades-long effort by hardworking and dedicated public servants across the United States. I want to thank the prosecution team from the Eastern District of New York, Assistant United States Attorneys Francisco Navarro, Robert Pollack, Adam Amir, Lauren Bowman,